That kind of was an eye-popper, if you will. Chase Bowman and his Morgan Raiders started 3-0 last year with that one-point win over Philo. First time they started 3-0 since 2007. Somebody's going to go 3-0 here tonight.
Well, Dirk is he is an absolute credit to the Muskingum Valley League. He's been there, what do you say, this is his 14th season.
Yeah.
He's a great coach, good man. I consider him a friend, and I really respect the fact he stayed. He's made that place his home. It is his home, and he stayed there through thick and thin. He hasn't taken off when the talent got thin. He's a dedicated guy. I have nothing but respect for him.
We'll see if Philo comes in and gets the victory here tonight on the road as Morgan gets set to entertain them here tonight. It's the MVL home opener for the Morgan Raiders here at the new field. They had their home opener, however, last week, and they did it in style, beating Warren Local 33-22 in front of the home crowd.
Well, what a great way to start the season in a new stadium, a new press box. It's a beautiful facility, and most importantly, they're 2-0.
They are. We're going to flip around to the other side of the field here as the camera's going to get a shot down on the gridiron as we're about set for kickoff. Doug, take a look here down on the field and look across the way. The stands below us, the stands across from us on the visitors' side is just starting to get packed in here at the new facility located right near the high school, literally right beside the high school, in fact.
Well, they have a new weight room. Everything's new. It's a tremendous setup, absolutely tremendous setup.
As Philo is going to be wearing the road uniforms in white, trimmed in blue and gold, much like what you're wearing tonight, Doug. You got the gold top. I got the Raider colors out here tonight, wearing some gray and blue. However, if you look down on the field, the Morgan Raiders, the home team here tonight, like military night, as they're wearing the military-looking uniforms. The camouflage jerseys are out.
Well, this is the second time this year we've seen that. I think Sheridan was in their camo shirts in week 1.
It's Military Appreciation Night, and the game proudly sponsored by Shriver's Pharmacy for Morgan. This is the Community Bank MVL Game of the Week, and we are underway, and it's a squib kick to start the game, and the Morgan Raiders will get the ball first at their own 31-yard line as they covered up the pigskin.
Well, the Raiders won the toss and elected to receive, which I thought had gone completely out of style. Almost everybody defers these days. They wanted the ball.
The Morgan Raiders Stadium here features a new turf by AstroTurf. Both football and soccer will play here. Also an all-weather track, new scoreboard, press box, stands on both sides as mentioned. Reserve seats with backs also available in the home bleachers. This is just an outstanding sight for high school football action here in Morgan and McConnellsville. Out of the shotgun, they'll run 2 receivers out wide left, 1 lone back. It's a fake, quick pass. Over there, the wide receiver screen, caught at the 30, and forward to the 35 for about 4 yards on our first offensive play of the game.
I think had that been incomplete, I think that would have been a fumble. And I think that was a backward pass. That looked like a lateral all the way to me.
Back to more facts of the stadium before second down here. This will be connected to the Raider Athletic Complex via a walking path. Indoor facility currently houses visitors' locker room with 88 lockers. Penalty while we were talking about Morgan's.
That ball had been underthrown or overthrown. Either way, it would have been picked.
Leading the charge for the Morgan offense at quarterback is 6-foot senior Logan Nice-Swanger. And Logan has had a great start to the season for his Raiders, getting out to this 2-0 start. More on some of his statistical information here afterwards on this play. Man in motion to the right. Lone set back to the left. Fakes. And Nice-Swanger looking to pass and air it out again downfield. One-on-one coverage, and it's incomplete inside the 20. A bang-bang play down there defensively.
Aiden Mahon made that play on defense. He timed that perfectly. The ball was right on the money. He got his left arm in front of the receiver, knocked it away, and dragged the receiver to the ground just to make sure. That's to me, is just a great indication of the coaching that the kids receive at Philo. That's a great play.
Last week, Nice-Swanger just threw the incompletion there. He's now 1 for 2. He finished 11 for 17 in the win over Warren Local, 182 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Also added 96 yards rushing on 14 carries. He'll fake. He may run. He will run here, Doug, and he's got daylight on the backside of the field. 35-30 and down right there, just short of the first down, it appears.
It looks like Seth Henning for Philo stopped him just short of the first down marker. He's going to be a yard short. Broke that back against the grain. It was closed off to the play side. Philo's defense did their job. The guy in charge of backside pursuit got lost somewhere, Probably come flying down the line to make the tackle, and we didn't stay home.
A nice swanger. Gain of 9 yards there. Again, 96 yards on the ground last week in the win over Warren Local. He had 37 yards on just 3 carries in the home opener, in the road opener in their 2023 season. Here's a first down run on 3rd and 1, Doug, as Niswanger makes it look easy.
Boy, that was a straight direct snap to the quarterback and a predetermined run. There was no fake, no option series at all. That was just we're going to get 1 yard no matter what. It's an impressive drive, Hank.
It is. It started back on their own 31-yard line. Now they're inside the 30 of Philo. On the move, new set of downs, 1st and 10. 2.5 minutes gone by our opening quarter here on a sunny 81-degree night here in September now, on September 1st.
Nice boot action.
Nice one. Look at a pass. Got him in as he locked and loaded it inside the 15 down to the 13-yard line. They'll mark it 13 more yards and moving the sticks.
You know, I don't think that was the play that was called. But Hayden Bankus, I saw him down the field, and he just turned and started waving at the quarterback like, yeah, it just looked like a playground job. I'm open. And the ball got there in a hurry.
It's a nice
That's
swanger.
tough to defend. That is so tough to defend.
Yeah, and you look, Doug, Niswanger's doing everything, whether it's via the pass with his right arm or his legs a few times. Multi-dimensional player that he is, leader. He's a 6-foot senior. A returning starter quarterback. He'll pitch this one off, however, and the pursuit by the Electrics is good, but the moves are even better to get somehow positive yards near the 10-yard line by Hayden Banks.
You know, I can't even relate for a second being able to run like that at any point in my life. I mean, that was it's a 3-yard gain. It should have been a 4-yard loss.
So they get down to the 10-yard line. Yeah, that was some good moves by this 5'7", 147-pound back there in Banks. You didn't have that, you say, back in the day?
Huh.
All right. Let's not get too carried away here. 2nd down, 7. Morgan can get a first down at the Philo 3-yard line. They do not have to score here.
They're
Fake,
gonna throw it.
Pass, end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown. The Raiders have started off strong with a 69-yard touchdown march for the score. Favorite receiver on the year, senior Cole Searle with a TD reception.
Hank, that was not a pass to a guy that was isolated all by himself. I mean, there were white shirts all around him. And Niswanger just threaded a needle and put it in there. And that's I don't know what they call that play, but it should be called the no fear play at the end zone.
And it worked to perfection. Niswanger with excellent mixture of running and passing the football, capped it off with a touchdown pass of 10 yards. Senior to senior as he hits Cole Searle. High snap, holds down, kicks airborne, and it's through the pipes. 7-0. The host Morgan Raiders in the MVL home opener here at Morgan Raiders Stadium with 8:09 left to go in our opening quarter. Didn't take them long, less than 4 minutes to get on the board.
Not at all, and the pride of the Philo football program has always been their defense. I mean, I remember my first few years at Crooksville, I don't think we had 50 yards rushing in 3 years total against these guys. I mean, and so their defense has always been their pride, and for the Raiders go down the field without any trouble whatsoever, running or passing. Wow, that's I'm sure Coach Linscomb is not happy right now on that sideline.
Well, Morgan's 2-0 start, Doug, has been very impressive to say the least. They can score points in bunches. They are averaging 42.5 points per game offensively coming in. Happens when you beat Riverview 52-0 in week 1, 33-22 last week here at home over Warren Local, and they take it right down the throats of the Philo Electrics for an opening score.
Well, what allows you to score all those points is when the other team has 0 or a lot less than you. So I'm anxious now to see the Raiders on defense, see if they can come out and get a stop on their first defensive effort, or see if Philo can respond to that touchdown drive.
And here we go with the ensuing kickoff. Fielded by Philo at about the 9-yard line, cutting across the field past the 15, 20, got an alley, 30, 35 with a hurdle, 40, and he could go all the way. There are flags down, though, back at about the Philo 13.
We're going to have a block in the back right there at about the 13-yard line. It was an obvious block in the back and completely unnecessary. The return man was already past the would-be tackler, and the guy for Philo blocked him squarely in the back, and I mean, that's just a killer.
Unfortunate, a 91-yard touchdown return on the ensuing kickoff wiped away. There is the call down on the field by your referee. And Philo will be pinned instead to start the game, rather than putting points on the board and potentially tying things up just like that.
Well, that's a tough start for the Electrics. You give up a touchdown on the Raiders' first possession. You come back, and now you have to take points off your side of the scoreboard because of a mistake. So it's a tough start for the Electrics. See how they respond.
So when they place it, it'll be inside their own 10-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 6, half the distance from where the infraction occurred. It's a 13-yard line or so. Big one.
That's a lot different than sending out your extra point team for the next play. Now you got to send your offense out, and you're lined up on the 6-yard line.
Well,
great opportunity for the Morgan defense to turn this thing around and absolutely dominate the field position part of the game.
See what the Electrics come out and doing here on offense with Dirk Lincecum. It's a pass, and it's off. The intended target's pads incomplete.
It was a good call. The receiver was wide open. That was number 11, Seth Henning. The ball was a little high, but it was a rocket of a throw, and it just bounced off his hands.
Seth Henning was the guy who had the kickoff return for touchdown taken back, and right there incomplete on that pass attempt. Last week, we'll keep talking about Henning, led the way receiving, 2 catches, 6 foot, 170-pounder. He had all 321 yards rushing in their opening win over Athens, 28-13 on the road. And here you see the Electrics move the chains as they go back to the ground game, so Philo trying to pick up some momentum.
Took that sweep play to the outside. It's a great job by the defense to hold him to 2 yards, but he still had enough for the first down. 3 wide receivers split to the near side here, Hank.
5
2 to the far side.
Yeah, 5 total. Here's your spread. It's like a run and shoot.
You have any offensive linemen out there?
In motion, 44, Drew Wright. And it goes to Wright. Wright's a big fella, and he just takes people with him for a first down reception out to the 32, and he did that damage mainly by himself.
Well, the quarterback looked off at least 2 receivers and came back to his receiver standing out there in the flat, Drew Wright. I mean, he was strictly what you called a safety valve. So that was an impressive play by Preston. I mean, he looked out. His receivers were covered. He checked it down, found the open man, picked up a first down.
Wright is 6'3", 215 pounds, Douglas, is a tight end. He's very crafty. He can do it all for Philo on offense. Here they'll go back to the ground game of the Electrics, this time a handoff from one of the backs up to about the 37.
Like Bailey that time carrying the football. Nice pickup on first down, about 5 yards.
Make it 2nd down and 5 for the Electrics. Opening possession on offense for them as we just eclipsed under the midway point of the first quarter. 5:50 and counting. 7-0. The host Raiders on top of things. As Preston will come out in the shotgun. Let's see if he likes to air it out. He definitely has shown how he can do it with his legs in the first 2 games. He will hand this one off as well on 2nd and 5. Right up the chute, and that's going to be another first down for the Electrics. And it goes back to Talon Bailey.
Well, I don't care if Philo has the son of Joe Montana at quarterback. Coach Lincecum's going to run the football at you, and if you can't stop the run, then you're in for a long night.
So the Electrics have gotten to this 2-0 start with a road win over Athens again in the opener. That was on a Thursday night a couple weeks back on August 17th, 28-13 on the road down there. Beating the Bulldogs, came back last week, beat Carrollton and the Warriors by 6 late, 20-14 on a late score from Preston with 3:34 to go to win that one to keep them undefeated. Back to the ground game here as Philo continues to pound it away. You just mentioned it from Coach Lincecum. He's going back to it.
It looks like Philo's trying to establish the domination on the line of scrimmage. You got some big bodies in there, some big boys on that offensive line, and they're going to punch up in there at Morgan. But that's going to set up the play action pass big time, or a quarterback pulling it out and running it himself.
2nd down, 7, 3 yards on that first down gain.
Nice throw.
And there's the first completion that's not to a tight end. 2nd already on the drive for Preston. It's going to be close to the marker in Morgan territory. The marker near the 47.
Looked like a 5-yard quick out. The ball was right on the money. No chance for anybody to touch that ball except the intended receiver.
It might be enough for a first down here. They might measure. Let's see. Officials timeout.
Have an injury on the far side.
First down is given. You mentioned the injury on the far side of the field, basically where the play ended. So with the clock stopped here, 4:23 left to go in our opening quarter, gives us a chance for our sponsors. Again, this MVL Game of the Week is presented by the Community Bank. Now's the perfect time to join the Go Local movement by banking locally with the Community Bank. Thanks Harley-Davidson, live to ride, ride to live. Thanks Quality Cars and RVs, quick as a wink. Deal with Fink and Fink's Easy Leasing and Rental. Foxfire Schools, free public alternative education serving students grades K through 12. Well, Doug, we'll take a break there for myself from the readers.
Well, it's very impressive. You had all that memorized, Hank.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's what happens. You get to week 3. Hopefully you get the cramps out and you get the for the players and for us, the readers out. They're all memorized.
I bet there's guys from Sheridan still having a cramp from that first week we did their game with Licking Valley.
Plenty of that in week 1 to be expected. And here we are in another Friday night, summer-like conditions. It was amen, so welcome to early football.
You bet.
Season. As we've now flipped the calendar to September 1st here today, Doug.
Yes, it is.
As we come back out onto the field, Electrics with the ball, with some momentum on this drive. This started back at their own 6-yard line, remember, after the ensuing kickoff touchdown return was taken back off the board. And here's a first down run inside the 40. That's 8 more yards as the Electrics continue to pound it on the Raiders defense.
Well, Bailey's carrying that ball. I mean, he's pounding it up in there. And, I mean, it's like Coach John McKay said a long time ago, the ball only weighs a pound, so it's no problem him carrying it every time. But they are definitely dominating the line of scrimmage. Morgan's defensive players are not nearly as big as that offensive line for Philo.
2nd down and short. Again, a run play. Bailey somehow spinning off of the turf to get the first down inside the 35 for another handful.
It's a great call, great no call by the referees that time because he was not on the turf. He was bouncing off bodies that were.
This is a very impressive drive by the Electrics. Most of it on the ground. A couple passes mixed in. And Preston hasn't been the one doing it all. It's been Bailey doing the heavy lifting in the past 3-4 plays.
But your defense, you have to honor the pass. When a team lines up 4 wide receivers, you have to honor the passing attack. And it opens some running lanes.
Out of the gun.
Here's the play I was waiting on.
There's Preston. Mention his name. And he comes back with a run for you. Says, I'm still here. 6 yards on the ground that time with the keeper around the right end.
That's a play that's been set up by the handoffs to Bailey. The quarterback keeps it and takes off around the corner there. I mean, that's textbook offense right there. Get the team looking inside the running back. Quarterback pulls it out. Picks up a nice gain of about 7 yards.
Electric's on the move, nearing the red zone here. At the Morgan 27-yard line, Preston fakes to the left to the back and throws it out there, and it's caught, and immediately down goes Henning after he makes that catch. No, they wipe it away here, Doug, actually, as Henning could not hang on to it.
Hayden Bankus read that play all the way. The receiver that was out there with the intended receiver didn't get a block on Bankus, and Bankus came clean, broke the play up, knocked the ball loose. Great reaction by Hayden Bankus that time on defense.
So it will be a 3rd down for Philo. 3rd and manageable, 3rd and 4.
I think this is Philo's first adversity on this drive, other than starting it to 6.
3 receivers. Check that, 4 receivers and 1 back, and it's a handoff as they spread the defense out, try to run it up the middle. Not much doing. It's going to be 4th and short. Philo did not pick it up.
Well, that call tells me that the Philo staff's confident in going for it on 4th down. They're not even going to – they're on the line right now ready to go.
How about the hurry up? Will it work? Preston fakes. Morgan going for him. Preston's in trouble. He dives for that first down marker. I don't think he's going to get it. That Raider defense and the crowd loving it have just turned the Electrics drive back. A fail on downs on 4th and 1.
Great job by the defense.
So the Electrics started with the football on their own 6-yard line. It looked like they were coming down the field here methodically, using a lot of the ground game to try to tie things back up after having a kickoff return for touchdown taken off the board, and it goes for naught as the defense of the Raiders holds.
That's one of those offensive plays that should have worked great. Fake to the fullback who's been killing you. Quarterback keeps it. The Raider defense having none of it. Great job that time by the guys on the perimeter.
So the Electrics go 70 yards, come up with no points. Back to the Raiders on offense with the lead, and they'll go to the ground game. Nice gaping hole off left tackle. Cut it up in for a first down run out past the 35 for a dozen yards.
It looks like one of the offensive linemen for the Raiders is kind of shaken up.
I believe that was William Dodd on the carry for the Raiders, number 5. Got an offensive lineman for the Raiders appearing gimpy around the left ankle here, Doug, and it's number 72, Logan Romsberg, a freshman. Looks like he's going to come out at least for one play being assisted. So the Raiders will have a first down. They'll give it 11 yards in the books as they'll mark the knee down at the 35-yard line. Raiders trying to come right back down the field here on their second offensive possession and try to get another score. A year ago, in the Raiders win 7-6 over Philo, Morgan scored the first points of the game late in the first quarter, went up 7-0. They held on with that lone touchdown. The Electrics scored their touchdown in the third quarter, but botched the PAT. And then late in the game, the Electrics failed on 4th down and 1, and Morgan salted away the win in the final $1.50. Here tonight, Morgan scores first. Well, we have more points on the board, though, as we go through this evening.
Well, I don't think the Raiders are done scoring.
Out of the gun, nice swanger. Rolling right, stops, looks the other way. Still looking for a receiver. And now running out of time, fires middle of the field. Caught! It's Searle for a first down near midfield, just short thereof. Another first down for the Raiders, this time by the pass for 12.
Just like you draw it up.
How about the offensive line, let alone the athleticism by Niswanger?
Well, the offensive line is doing a great job. I think that impressed me most about the offensive line on that play is nobody went down the field when the quarterback started to scramble. Nobody grabbed the jersey, and nobody panicked. It was a nice job.
And the Raiders on the move again. Yeah. Nice swanger. Showing what he can do once again with that right arm. Out of the shotgun. You're going to see that all night long. Got a man in motion from right to left, from one end to the other. And it's going to be a handoff to the back. And that's Dodd. And somehow he wiggles his way into Philo territory all the way to the 45 for 8 more yards on the ground.
I saw Philo's linebackers just fly to the point of attack, and they ran right past the ball carrier. Well, my brother, who's the head coach at Portsmouth for many, many years, loved to play against a team like that ran this defense, the 3-3. He said there's an awful lot of bubbles on that defensive line. The linebackers are 5 yards away from the ball, from the line of scrimmage. You know, so we can't run against that. We can't run against anything. And that's what the Raiders are doing right now. They're running through soft spots where there's nobody on as a down lineman.
2nd and 2, airing it out. Nice swanger in traffic, double coverage, and it nearly was intercepted and almost caught off the fingertips of the Morgan receiver downfield as well in Bankus. But it falls harmlessly to the turf for 3rd and 2. You know, Dodd got the last 2 carries for the Raiders. Got to throw this out there. He's had a great start of the season for the Raiders, starting out 2-0. He had 76 yards in the opener against Riverview on just 3 totes, 10 carries, 83 yards last week. So it's not all just on the arms of Niswanger. They have good balance, and Dodd has shown it out of the backfield through 2 weeks.
That's, you know, when I talked to Coach Linscomb, and I saw his conversation on the Facebook interview that Matt did. That's what he addressed was, you know, they have good receivers, they can run the ball, have a, you know, really good quarterback. That's tough. You just can't stop one phase of an offense. You have to play honestly all night.
It's a fake, it's a keep, and Niswanger just powering and bullying his way forward for the first down near the Philo 40. Very impressive using that power as he lowered his body, did the senior quarterback.
Well, he's slowly approaching my all-time favorite quarterback. He plays linebacker. I mean, I like him already. Runs the ball with power.
Not afraid.
You know.
At all.
He's the real deal.
He's 6 foot, 193 pounds listed. He'll have a first down for his Morgan Raider team. We flip the script to the second quarter. 1 quarter in the books here on the MVL Game of the Week, presented by Community Bank. It's Morgan 7, Philo nothing. Back with the second quarter right after this. Back with Doug Clifford. I am Hank Kaufman. Second quarter of action underway here in McConnellsville. 7-0 in favor of the Morgan Raiders. Morgan will have a 1st and 10 at the Philo 40. And to start the second quarter, it's a run play for 5 more yards up to the 35-yard line to be 2nd 5 for the Raider offense. And Doug, I know you're chomping at the bit, waiting to go over some of the keys of the game here tonight eventually with this one. We haven't gotten to the scribbles on the notepad yet.
Well, you know, I talked to Chase Bowman earlier this week, and I always want to know about a team's practice routine. And they have a very interesting weekly practice routine to prepare for a game. And I don't think the fans really appreciate most of your decisions are made Monday through Thursday. On Friday night, you're just doing what you've come up with throughout your practice week.
We'll talk more after the play here by Niswanger. And boy, is it a nice one on the money. First down reception downfield with that pass to the 24 of the Electrics. Here come that Raider offense again as you go back into the Raider talk.
Well, Monday is what Coach Bowman calls fundamental day. And they work on all their fundamentals, kicking game, that kind of stuff. Tuesday is offensive night. They work on offensive drills. But at the end of practice, they go team defense for a little while. On Wednesday, they flip the script. They go through all their defensive fundamentals and team defense, but they finish practice with team offense. And then Thursday night, they go over situation football, which, every football game comes down to a few situations, and that's what they work on Thursday night. So I thought that was a great approach and a great plan of attack for his team.
That's deep, detailed, and really neat. Here's Niswanger trying to throw another neat pass, and he does. We have flags downfield. Catch made near another first down at the Philo 15. Let's check the marker in the secondary inside the 10.
Well, that's going to be an interesting call. It couldn't be pass interference, I wouldn't think. The ball wasn't thrown yet.
So this would be a very important decision down on the field by the guys in the stripes, as Morgan's marching down to try to go up by 2 scores here early in this game. Early in the second quarter. Clock stopped right now with 10:35 left to go until intermission.
I don't see the offense backing up. Here's the call.
Sounds like it's against Philo's word and for a hold, and it is, and that should be decline, or will they take it? Depends on the spot of the catch. They're going to take the penalty, Doug, and keep it first down. Wipe the catch away instead of 2nd and short. Okay, well, that's a coaching decision. You know all about that.
Yep.
Former coach, you were, obviously.
Well, it's whichever one gives you the advantage. You don't worry about the stat sheet at this point. There'll be plenty of time for stats throughout the season. And obviously somebody in the secondary must have grabbed a receiver that was going past them, and they got caught. I'm sure right now the Philo secondary is they're on their heels. They've broken up a couple passes, but Niswanger just keeps attacking and throwing the ball right on the money.
And that'll make it a first down and 10 at the 14-yard line of Philo for the Raiders. And here is a positive play that didn't gain much. One of their worst positive yardage gains so far in the night. Dodd only picked up a yard to the 13.
Well, it looked to me like number 82 for Philo. Who would that be? Camden Stoner blew through and just nearly had the running back for a loss. But he didn't make the tackle, but he definitely destroyed the timing of that play, and it ended up with just a 1-yard gain. 2nd down and 9.
So it'll be interesting to see what type of play call the Raiders come out with here. They've been very aggressive, mixing the run with the pass beautifully so far in this first half. They try to add to their lead. Here's Niswanger. He's going to hand it off. Dodd busy here as of late, and there's a flag late coming in right where Dodd gets stacked up at about the 10. So another penalty.
That was a good play by the Philo defense, but the running back still forced his way up for a few yards. But I'm thinking that's face mask or offensive holding territory right there. I didn't see a face mask grab. No, I see the signal. Holding. Offense. That's a drive killer.
That definitely could for this race. They'll go back to the ground game here, Doug, instead on second.
That was going to work for big yardage. I mean, it was 2nd down and 19 on that call, and they ran quarterback off tackle.
And the ball's going to be placed inside the 20 at about the 18-yard line. They can pick up a first down without getting a touchdown. Can this Raider offense, if you're thinking 4 downs here rather than kicking a field goal if you don't convert on 3rd?
Well, we saw the extra point kick on Morgan's first touchdown, and it wasn't really a booming kick. So I agree with you, Hank. I think they're going to go for it on 4th down if they don't make it here.
3 receivers and a tight end to the left. Looking downfield, Niswanger in trouble, and he's sacked. The Electrics get to him, and look who it is. It's Drew Wright, the 6'3 senior.
Best pass defense in the world.
That's a big sack for the Electric defense to keep it a 1-score game here and make it very difficult for Coach Chase Bowman here on 4th down.
Huge play that time. Great play by Drew Wright. Come in, got the sack. It's 4th and, 20 for the first down. Going to play some pass defense again, boys.
First down can be picked up by the Raiders at the Philo 4-yard line. They have to do it right here or get a score.
Nobody in the backfield except the quarterback.
Niswanger rolling right, avoids pressure for once, but not again. Ball's on the deck, and it's recovered by the Electrics on the turf. They just gained a few more yards is what it turns out to be and add another sack into the column. Philo had 3 sacks in the win over Carrollton last week. They get 2 on back-to-back plays here.
Hank, that's the first happy thing that's happened for the Electrics since we got here. I don't know what they had for a pregame meal, but that's the first good thing that's happened for this team. Morgan's gone up and down the field. They had a touchdown on a kickoff called back. They got stopped on a 4th and 1 in the red zone. Philo really needed something like that to take place. It's 7:25 in the middle of the second quarter. And it's the first good thing that's happened all night for them.
Let's see if it electrifies, pun on words, their offense here when they come back out on the field. While we have this moment, changing of offense and defense, instant replay brought to you by tonight, the Ohio Educational Credit Union, South 60 Films, right here you're listening to, watching as well, the new home for MVL football, streaming games live every week this season. So the bumps, the bruises, and the hurdles that we've had as we move along into week 3, now you're starting to see a little bit of that here on several plays. That Philo defense picked it up for Coach Lincecum.
Well, I'm anxious to see what Philo comes out and does. They ran the ball from the 6-yard line all the way down to the 20 and had no trouble getting first downs until that last play when it was 4th and 1. It looks to me like if a team's going to score quickly, it's going to be the Raiders. And a team's going to have to score methodically, it's going to be the Electrics.
Let's see what happens here on Philo's second offensive possession. First time they've had the football in the second quarter. Out of the gun, 4 receivers at his disposal is Preston. He'll hand it off to the lone back. And not much running room forward, out to the 35. Still got 4 yards out of it despite not much room. 2nd down 6 for Philo. Next week, Doug, we'll be in the jungle. Jim Rockwell Stadium down in New Lexington. West Wisconsin Tornadoes swirl into town to take on Perry County rival New Lex, your former Perry County rival, I should say.
Yes, I think both teams are going into week 3 undefeated.
Yeah, both are 2-0 tonight. We'll go through some other game breakdowns later on throughout this
Not
telecast.
this time.
And a loss here for Preston on 2nd down. put it back near the original line of scrimmage. Going to lose 3 on this one. You know, New Lexington is taking on John Glenn tonight. That's another 2-0 MVL matchup besides our game right here. As we mentioned, New Lexington, we'll see them next week for the first time.
A great play that time by William Dodd for the Morgan Raiders. He had the quarterback before he ever got to the line of scrimmage. His teammates rallied around that, ended up throwing the quarterback for a loss, 3rd down and 9. We may, we may see, what's that trick play? Punt. We may see a punt here if Philo can't convert a first down.
Could be our first of the evening. Let's see what happens here on 3rd down 9. Out of the gun, Preston. Look at a pass. He looked left, middle field, now right. His 3rd read, and it's incomplete down low. Great coverage defensively right there. And who was that DB over on Morgan's side? Cole Searle, stand out wide out on the offensive side.
A nice job. He did not interfere with the receiver. He reached over the back with his left hand and knocked that ball down just before the receiver could get his hands on it without being on his back. That's a heck of a play.
Well, get that dreaded 4-letter word, punt. First one tonight.
Well, you know, I used to hear Coach Tressel say that a punt is a positive play. Well, I disagree. I don't think so.
Here's a short one. Speaking of punts, going to be fair, caught by Searle at his own 44-yard line. So the Raiders defense holds a 3-and-out.
Yes, it is.
Force that punt. Have great field position as the offense trucks back out on the field.
I mean, that's a great job by defense. I mean, that's your goal, 3 plays and get off the field. Give your offense the ball in great field position. You know, I don't want to, rival the late, great Johnny Carson and the great Karnak or whatever. But this is a great place to throw the ball deep on first down.
Well, let's see if they shall listen to you.
It might have been an I formation, an offset I. That's a running formation, but and it's one-on-one out there on that far side.
You said offset I. Out of the gun, nice swung it. Receiver split as well. It's going to be a run to the tailback. And jitterbugging, jiving on the left side of the line. Still on his feet, using those legs and his calves into Philo territory to the 48-yard line, just short of a first down for Dodd. Wow. And that's all that extra practice time paying off.
It is.
The new facility here.
That's
Morgan Athletic Complex, possibly.
That's time in the weight room, too. It's time in the weight room doing those core lifts, squats, deadlifts, and get that core of your body strong and just keep those legs going.
And you know the thing about it is Philo has a great tradition with weightlifting
don't
they? So
yes.
We're talking Morgan up now, but how about that? I know you know a thing or two about Philo's lifting program as well. 2nd and 2. Morgan's on the Philo side of the field. They'll go back to the ground game with Dodd. Philo there to greet him. 5, 6 guys there, stripping the football. That's a free live ball, and Wright has covered. Electrics have it at the Raiders side of the field, and there's another turnover. That's the 2nd for the Raiders here in this half.
Well, that was a definite strip that time. Dodd was stood up. He was stopped. One of the Philo defenders reached in and just leveraged that ball out from his arms and came up with the turnover.
We'll have halftime scores and highlights of our game here at the break here soon. We're at 4:49 left to go now. A fast-moving first half here at Morgan Raider Stadium, the inaugural year here at the stadium.
This is the Electric's best field position of the night by far. They're starting in the Raider territory. See if they can, they're in 4-down territory immediately here. See if they can take advantage of it.
Lights have just come on as dust starts to kick in here around 8 o'clock, just short thereof. Look at this pass downfield. Oh, had his man hitting at about the 15-inch stride and off the left fingertips.
Well, that looked like a Walmart to me. They were open 24 hours. There were guys open all over that field. There's a guy going right down the middle of the field. I think it was number 7, Aiden Mahon. He's wide open. There wasn't anybody even close to him.
And so it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Electrics. You know, these offenses kind of mirror each other. Both like to mix in that run and that deep pass here and there.
Right, that's a classic call on first down after a turnover. You try to keep, catch the team still on their heels.
Preston fakes, passes, wide receiver screen. There's the defense by the Raiders. Nowhere to go for Henning. might be lucky to get back to the original line of scrimmage. Hayden Bankus all over that defensively.
That's the second time they've ran that play to Bankus' side, and the results just keep getting worse and worse for Philo.
And a loss on the play.
I think I'd throw that play where Bankus wasn't. I mean, that's not real scientific, but
going to have to wise up right about now. It's not working. The ball's now going backwards at the midfield stripe. Loss of 2. 3rd down 12 for the Philo offense. They go 5 wide here. 3 to the right side of the field. Preston all day long. Now flush. Now down he goes. Dodd will sack him. Back near the 40 of Philo.
That was a 3-man rush. Morgan was in a pass coverage defense all the way. Sacked by number 5, William Dodd. He's made a couple of big plays tonight.
They will mark it at the Electric 41-yard line. Loss of 9 after the previous play. Lost 2, and the Electrics are forced to punt yet again here in the quarter.
3-man rush, and you get quarterback sack. That just can't happen for an offensive line.
Ooh, nearly getting to that kick.
Wow.
Was the Raiders' nice swanger. And instead, you got a short kick here.
Didn't even kick. It looks like about an 11-yard punt.
And the Raiders with no return are okay with that because of what you just said, a short punt on their side of the field. They'll have excellent field position once more.
They didn't even punt for the first down.
Punt goes for 12 yards in the books.
Well, last offensive series, Morgan started off relatively the same spot and lined up in their offset I formation and ran the ball 2 times in a row and had a fumble. I'm anxious to see if they turn loose that passing attack. I mean, they got a wide receiver on the far side. It's one-on-one cover over there.
3 receivers, including a couple in the slot to the
That's
left.
where he's looking.
Fires that way. Doug, short side of the field, caught over there. But the Electric defense all over it, too. So only a gain of 2. And now we have.
You know, Hank, I'm a fisherman.
Absolutely.
Well, that's what you call throwing a little bait out there for that corner man. Come up, made a nice stop on that. Sometime here later in the game, maybe on the next play, we're going to see what's called a stop and go. That wide receiver is going to go out. He's going to turn around, show his numbers to the quarterback, and then he's going to make a break for that goal line. And if that Philo defender is up tight like that, it's all over.
No doubt about it. Let's see what Coach Chase Bowman dials up here on 2nd down and 8 at their own 49.
Linebacker blitz.
4 receivers to each side. Middle of the field, slant, caught. And it's going to be close to a first down. They may have it at the Philo 42. That's Searle on the catch.
Inside linebacker blitzed up the middle. Quarterback saw it, stepped to his left, and hit that guy coming across the middle. Hit Searle coming right across the middle. Great read by the quarterback. I think that's the biggest difference in the passing game in high school now than when I coached, Hank, is the receivers and the quarterbacks. They read the defense on the move, just like they do in the college ranks and in the NFL. And it's tough for defense. That receiver, he just runs where you're not.
And it worked for a first down for the Raiders again as they're moving in Philo territory. This time, Nice Swanger will try to run it on a keeper up the middle, only for a yard to the 41. Time becoming a big factor here. It's rolling near the 2-minute mark left in our half of a low-scoring 7-0 game. Start out with fireworks and slow down. The defenses have picked it up.
Neither team has used a timeout.
So now you're into that 2-minute drill here, Doug. 2nd and 9 for the Raider offense. Neither team in much of a hurry.
I know Coach Bowman wants to get another score. They've had every opportunity to have multiple scores here in the first half, and they have one. And they've let Philo hang around, and everything's gone wrong for Philo in the first half. And I think that's going to be too much time.
And let's see, it's a timeout, in fact. Bails out the Raiders instead of a delay of game penalty. Stopping action with 1:47 left to go in the half.
You know, the old saying is, you know, if you let a team hang around, it will come back to bite you, and that's what they've done. Like we said, everything's gone wrong for Philo. They haven't played well offensively, except for their initial drive that's from the 6-yard line all the way down the field that resulted in no score. But if they can hang on and only be down by 1 score at halftime, they get the ball first to start the second half.
Well, we got a moment here with 1:47 seconds left to go in our opening half of a 7-0 Raider lead. the Raiders beat the Electrics last year in Duncan Falls. First time they had beaten Philo in 15 years since 2007. Another did you know, last time Morgan defeated Philo in McConnellsville was back in 2004. Obviously, that was at the old athletic field, which stood for 84 years till now. That going back to almost the beginning of the millennium here, almost 20 years, a couple decades. Morgan's trying to do that here tonight and get Philo back-to-back seasons.
This is
long way to go in this one. As we're back from the timeout with a 2nd and 9. And
I think somebody just parked a semi-truck in the end zone down there.
A little distracting for a moment, but the Raiders will now run the play, and Niswanger's going nowhere on this play. Just back to the original line of scrimmage, and it's going to be 3rd and 9, and let's see if Philo elects to call a timeout and try to save some clock if they can get another stop. They do, so Coach Lincecum will burn one here, his first timeout call of the half.
Nice tackle that time by Braden Bleakney as a solo tackle on Niswanger, which is not an easy task.
Next week, we will have West Muskingum and the Tornadoes, a team that you and I saw last week, pull away in the second half at home at Whirlwind Stadium to beat the Marietta Tigers 38-20. Looking forward to seeing them again. Exciting team that made the playoffs in a deep run a year ago before getting bounced. They'll be on the road at New Lexington to take on the Panthers. Coach Board and the Panthers, we haven't seen them yet this year, let alone I didn't see them last year, Doug. I was lined up to do a game in week 2 at New Lexington, and then obviously the dreaded 5-letter where COVID happened. COVID-19, I couldn't do it. That game down in New Lexington week 2 a year ago. I get a chance to go back to Jim Rockwell. It's been some years.
Well, they're very confident right now. Things are going well for them. Coach Board's doing a great job. He has a great coaching staff, and they think they're set to make another run.
So that game is next Friday. Back to live action here. 3rd and 9 after the Philo timeout. Morgan's going to try to air it out with Niswanger after a fake. He's now in trouble, being chased from behind, but he's going to have a first down run, it looks, at about the 30 or so. All he had to do was get to the 32-yard line, and they did that and then some.
That's the defensive coordinator's nightmare. You have guys covered down the field. You have the rush on the quarterback, and somebody loses contain, and he scrambles for a first down. Now, Raiders have a pair of timeouts. First down at their the 28. They can do whatever they want to here. They can run it or pass it. They have a couple of timeouts in their pockets.
Well, a lot of the cliches. You can come out sometimes with the bug, sometimes with the windshield. Coach Lincecum called a timeout. Didn't work.
No,
Fortunately, it helped Morgan. They set up the play and converted as they try to score late. Out of the gun, Niswanger looking short side of the field. Now he's going to run, found a little gap, and that seam run will get him close to another first down run near the 20 of the Electrics, depending upon the spot.
Well, the left tackle did a great job on the defensive end, pushed him to the outside. Niswanger stepped right up in through there and made the first down.
And they're going to move the chains once more. It's a first down run by Niswanger as he got inside the 20, in between the 17 and 18-yard line. So here they come, back-to-back plays by Niswanger with his legs.
Somebody called a timeout here. Who was it?
Trying to see if that was the actual.
Both says both teams should have. One team should only have one timeout left.
Might have been an official's timeout, I believe, here, Doug. And that is the case. There's an official's timeout on the field. Clock stop, minute 22 left to go in our first half.
Is there an injured player here? I see a yellow shirt on the sideline. It looks like a Philo coach over here on the Morgan sideline.
Yeah,
must be attending one of their players.
Yeah, from our vantage point, it's not good to see exactly who it is, if it is a Philo Electric player, let alone any player for that matter.
Well, Niswanger got out of bounds on that scramble, so that would have stopped the clock. And we saw both teams still have their timeouts. So this was an injury timeout called by the referees.
Well, if you're just tuning in or you need a recap, forgot.
It's Drew Wright.
8:09 left to go in the first quarter. Logan Niswanger threw a 10-yard touchdown pass to Cole Searle. Extra point was good. That completed a 69-yard opening drive march for the score, and that's where we stand still right now. Morgan still leading 7-0, but threatening once more.
Well, this is a crucial drive for the Philo defense. They can't afford to go down 2 scores to these guys with the problems they've had on offense and the poor field position they've had. It's just been a stacked deck for them since the start of this game, but they need to rally here And what is it, 1st and 10? Wow. 1st and 10, a first down can be had at about the 8-yard line, it looks like. They need to get a stop.
Plenty of time here for the Raiders with the 2 timeouts in their pockets.
I'm going to put the ball in the hands of that quarterback. Let him do something.
Nice swinger out of the gun. 4 receivers again at his disposal, 2 each direction. Looking to pass. 5-step drop. Might be a screen. It is. It's caught by Searle in the middle of the field, inside the 10. It's going to be a first down and goal for the Raiders after that catch and run.
It's a middle screen, and no team in this conference has run a middle screen more effectively than the Philo Electrics through the years. And so that kind of that's their play. And that's tough to take if you're on the far sideline.
So first and goal for the Raiders as they look over for the play call. Clock running under a minute now
running.
left to go here in our opening half. The break right around the corner. Scores from around the area. Highlights as well as we get them. Here from tonight's game.
It's going to be around 40 seconds to go in this half, and this ball snapped.
Nice swinger out of the gun. He's going to have one back right beside him, positioned to the left. If you want to call that a back, actually. Doug, a little trickeration as lining up in the backfield beside Niswanger was Mason Brown, 6 foot, 205-pound sophomore offensive lineman. But a timeout's called on the field prior to the snap. For good reason. Lincecum didn't like what he saw.
That's a good timeout. Well, there's no need to save your timeouts for your offense. There's not going to be any time for your offense. We're down to 40 seconds. So you definitely don't want your defense to get tricked by a trick formation at this point in the game.
So both these teams here going at it. Rivals, obviously. Route 60 rivals. Here we are on,
no doubt.
Giving this game to you on South 60 Films. How fitting, obviously, it is. Both these teams reside off of Route 60.
You can look over the fence and see the guy you're playing against, that's for sure.
And, oh, by the way, both these two teams more in common right now here early in the season besides being 2-0 and obviously residing off of Route 60 with each of their respective schools. Both these teams in Division 4, Region 15, are ranked 4th and 5th, respectively. Right now, they would be hosting a playoff game. We have a long way to go, obviously, when we get into late October.
But still, Hank, that means whoever wins this game, the other team is just going to pump their points up throughout the season. So this is an important game in their region.
After the timeout called by Philo, first and goal at the 5. Here come the Raider offense, and running forward left side of the line, only for a yard, maybe 2, short of the 3 is Niswanger.
Clock still running.
Under 30 seconds left to go and ticking, and now we have whistles and a timeout called by the Raiders. And Coach Bowman, his second timeout used at half. Each team has 1 timeout remaining for what it's worth.
Well, so that means the Raiders can run the ball one more time. And then after that, they have to throw it if they don't make it in the end zone.
A game that started off with fireworks, opening possession touchdown. Philo gets the ensuing kickoff for a touchdown, we think, called back on a penalty. And then no scoring ever since. We've seen some turnovers on downs. We've seen some fumbles on the ground, a couple by Morgan. We've seen some sacks even picked up by Philo a couple occasions, let alone Morgan on the last possession. Philo had the ball.
Exactly. The Philo offense, other than their first possession, has not moved the football. But their defense has stood up time after time here in the first half. They could easily be down 21-0 at this point in the game based on where Morgan has started with the football. But they've held. So they have one more time they got to hold. Morgan has 2 more plays.
Yeah, they're going to have to stiffen up again, Doug. You mentioned it.
Boy, look at that slant pattern here to the white, to the split in on the top of the field out there. It is so easy to execute.
They marked it at the 3. Second and goal from there. Nice swinger out of the gun. Fires right side. Picked off. Look out. Could it be a pick 6? Down the sidelines he goes. 40, 50. Philo's going to score. And it's going to be 7-6. It's Seth Henning with a pick 6 for 99 yards.
How fitting for Henning to get that touchdown, because he's the guy that ran the kickoff back. Well, he just picked up a penalty for spiking the ball, but he ran that kickoff back that was called back, got the interception, pick 6, spiked the ball in the end zone. And He's got to remember, he's not on NFL Films now. He's on South 60 Films, and that's a penalty.
Oh, well put. Well, right before the half, Philo gets on the board. Didn't see this one coming. As Niswanger's pass read beautifully by Henning, who goes the distance.
Well, Henning read the quarterback's eyes all the way. And I think Niswanger was late on the throw a little bit. And he threw that quick out to the guy. I think the guy was in motion and come across the formation and tried to slide underneath the coverage. And Henning was having none of it, buddy.
And so the Electrics within a digit. This is the score last year, 7-6. Morgan won by a point. The extra point was botched by the Electrics, and it cost them in the end. Let's see what happens here on the PAT try. This is knot things up at 7.
It's 31 out there to do the kicking. Braden Payton. Henning is the holder.
As we await to see if all three are successful, the snap, the hold, and the kick. And it's blocked! And it's still 7-6 in favor of the Raiders. 2 years in a row, the Electrics snake bitten after their score to get close to tying Morgan.
Deja vu all over again. Thank you, Yogi.
Oh, baby, as you say. A 1 point Raider lead. So you throw a pick six, but you come back and the special teams gets a blocked extra point.
Well, the game's basically even. After a hard-fought half, or Morgan obviously looked like the superior team and in control of the game, and now they're only ahead by 1 point. You got to give the nod to the special teams, to the Raiders right now, to come over that block extra point.
See if that also comes back to haunt Coach Lindsey coming there, Philo Electrics yet again against the Raiders.
It already is. Trust me, it already is. You don't have to wait till tomorrow. Block extra points already haunt you as soon as it happens.
We're way early for Halloween, breaking out the haunts.
Well, you look at this first half, Hank. I don't think I've ever seen a block extra point in the first half that might mean as much as that one. Neither team is, after that opening drive by the Raiders, neither team has scored. Until that interception by, was it Henning? Yeah, Seth Henning.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure part of the halftime in the Philo locker room is going to be, guys, we couldn't have done anything else more wrong than the first half. Everything went against us, and we're down by 1 point. So all we got to do, let's turn this thing around in the second half, get some decent field position. We get the ball first.
Yes,
we can take the lead on our first possession if you guys go out and grab it. And I'm sure the talk in the Morgan locker room is going to be, you let these guys hang around. We finally make a mistake. They took advantage of it. We got to come back out in the second half and play better. We outplayed them in the first half. We really have to outplay them now in the second half.
No doubt about it. And Mr. Big Play, Seth Henning, 99 interception return for TD. This one stood. 91-yard kickoff return back in the first quarter did not due to a penalty.
I would say if Seth Henning ever picked your pocket and stole your wallet, you're not going to catch
He's
it.
Gone.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's good as gone.
He's gone.
Who carries cash anymore? Oh, but it's the cards. You just said pocket. Being not too specific. Here's a pooch kick. Fielded by Morgan as a fair catch and going right to the ground at the 48-yard line. But, by the way, there's still 9 seconds left here, Doug. So a little bit of a head-scratcher. You do have one timeout as well, just Chase Bowman's Raiders. So you get a little chunk play down there. Do you try a field goal or go to the end zone? You still have a chance.
Well, that was a heady play by the kickoff return team. The clock doesn't start until, the return team touches the ball. And as soon as the guy caught the ball, he put it on the ground, took a knee, whatever, and stopped the clock. There's only about a second ran off the clock, so they have 8.9 seconds here. And they have a quarterback that can throw the ball down the field. I think we're going to see an aerial display right here.
Back to pass, waning seconds of the half, and Nice Longer's just going to tuck and run it out of bounds and save some clock in that one timeout remaining for what it's worth. 3.3 seconds left to go, so your last play of the first half coming right here. Expect a Hail Mary or some sort of trickeration type play from Morgan if they want points.
Well, I'm going to predict that the Philo secondary might be in a different zip code on this snap. Timeout, Morgan.
They will burn that last timeout here with just over 3 seconds left to go. Final play of the half coming. Very entertaining game here. MVL Game of the Week presented by Community Bank with Morgan up by a digit, 7-6. MVL home opener for the Raiders here on their new field here at Morgan Raiders Stadium. Again, 84 years plus they spent over the athletic field, and, well, been around for obviously every one of those.
Yeah, I remember, we would dress, I think it was the Morgan Junior High building. And then we had to walk down the street and then down the alley. And there's some Morgan faithful fan there, and she always –
I was going to say, where's this turn?
she always gave us the raspberries, if I'm being polite there. But, yeah, it was and you'd walk all the way down the alley and finally get to the field.
Back
what
in the
an
day.
improvement. Back in the day. What an improvement. I think now every school in the Muskingum Valley League has upgraded their facilities, and it's great to see.
You're not kidding. In fact, I think two of the first ones were Maysville and New Lexington about 2007, 2008, been 15-plus years. Here we go. Hail Mary! Morgan airing it out with Nice Longer, and it's incomplete. Nearly had a chance back there of the Philo defense, but they did a good job making sure the Morgan Raider receiver couldn't see it, and that might have been Searled back there.
Well, that ball was in the end zone, no doubt about it.
And
wow, what a throw.
Yeah, and that's how the first half comes to a close here in McConnellsville at their new Morgan Raider Stadium field. We've got a beauty between a pair of 2-0 MVL teams here in Week 3 as we start up September tonight on this Friday night. 7-6, the Raiders lead the Electrics. Now time for halftime here on the MVL Game of the Week presented by Community Bank. When Doug and I come back, we'll try to give you some first half highlights, give you some scores from around the area, and get the local bands as well out on the field from both these respective
What's the score,
teams.
Brady?
Hank Alphen with Doug Clifford, Morgan Raider Stadium here on our Game of the Week, the MVL Game of the Week, presented by Community Bank. It's a good one, 7-6. The Morgan Raiders up by a digit on the Philo Electrics. Doug, as we're about ready to go into these first half highlights to take a look at these, Morgan gets it started on the right foot with a score right here to go up 7-0.
Their opening drive, they took it right down the field. It looked like a textbook drive, running and passing the ball. Touchdown.
Nice swanger hit Searle for that touchdown pass. Not even 4 minutes into the game at the 8:09 mark in the first quarter. On to the next highlight here, and you're going to see Morgan come up with a big play defensively of Philo as they wind up getting a fumble recovery.
Well, they peel the ball out. The ball carrier stopped. They leveraged it out. That's one of 3 turnovers Morgan has committed.
Yeah, there was a lot of them in that first half. Take a look here. You're going to see Seth Henning go 99 yards for an interception return for a touchdown right before the half with 10 seconds left to go. Extra point was blocked, but Philo back in the game with that one.
Niswonger had a chance to make a tackle on that play and made that dive for the heel. Henning had no part of that. Then spiked the ball in the end zone and get the penalty.
For a first half of big plays, and Doug just mentioned that Henning interception return for 99 yards in the score to get him back within a point for the Electrics. He had a 91-yard kickoff return taken off the board back in the first quarter after the Morgan score.
Yeah, that's right. As soon as on it ensuing kickoff, he went all the way. Just the penalty, block in the back behind the ball carrier, mortal sin for the kicking game.
Yeah, and so right now, special teams, big difference. Philo had a kickoff return taken back off the board for a touchdown. Also an extra point blocked. Could loom large in a 7-6 one-point game. It did last year. Same thing happened. Morgan won by a point, 7-6, and Philo botched the extra point after their only touchdown. Here we go again. Deja vu.
I'll tell you what, the Raiders' defense has allowed Philo basically nothing, and they have nothing on their offensive side of the ball. But it could be a tough second half for one of these two teams that's going to go home without the undefeated 0 on their record.
That's right. Both teams came into this one 2-0. Somebody's going to be 3-0. Somebody's going to pick up that first loss here in 2023, and we'll bring you the second half action here shortly. We'll also give you scores from around the area as well. Doug, looking forward to seeing a great second half between these two.
Oh, you bet. You bet.
All right. Back here on the MVL Game of the Week, presented by Community Bank. With Doug Clifford, I'm Hank Kaufman once again. We're in McConnellsville as the Morgan Raiders in this MVL battle here tonight lead the visiting Philo Electrics by 1, 7-6. Highly entertaining first half. We went through some first half highlights there briefly earlier here at halftime as Morgan jumped out early with a 69-yard touchdown drive in their opening possession. Extra point good, less than 4 minutes in. That was a 10-yard pass from Niswanger to Cole Searle. And then that would hold up until a 99-yard interception return for touchdown was put on the board by Philo's defense from Seth Henning with just 10 ticks left to go in the half, extra point blocked. Doug, we're going to get into some second half here in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at the scoreboard from a few minutes ago around the area. Some of these scores might shock you, some of them might not. How about this one? Meadowbrook and Cambridge. That rivalry over there, 24-21, Colts had come back. They were down early, double digits, now up by 3. That game moving to halftime. John Glenn New Lex battle undefeated 2-0 MVL teams, 14-7. My alma mater, John Glenn, beating the Panthers, a team we'll see next week in New Lex. Coshocton and Maysville, a couple winless teams in the MVL. Maysville's going to get their first win, it looks, 35-0 all over Coshocton. You have Sheridan 7, Logan 3. The Generals look to stay undefeated. That's at the half. Also at the half, Tri-Valley down, but it's close, 10-7. Clinton Massey with the lead. West End getting trounced 21-0 at halftime to the Garaway Pirates. Zanesville also getting whooped 28-0. St. Clairsville has them. And Crooksville, your former Ceramic Boys, 21-0. Could they be 3-0 leading at the half over Burton Union? Your thoughts on the scores just read and then your first half analysis again of this one.
Well, I know the Clinton Massey team is loaded for bear this year. A friend of mine's son, Ben Johnson, is the head coach at Waynesville, and they played Clinton Massey early in the season and said they're the real deal. They run the ball every time. They run the wishbone. So they don't throw it anywhere. So they're a really tough ground-oriented team and really proud of the Ceramics. What a great start for this year.
Gage Latozo and the boys. Wow.
You know, that's they have a brand-new facility down there, and the weight room and locker room facility is absolutely unmatched. So keep it up, Ceramics.
Yes, absolutely. A couple 2-0 teams that were coming into week 3 that we'll see next week. Will they both be undefeated or will they have a loss? New Lex and West Muskingum losing tonight so far.
2 tough games for those teams that were undefeated, like you said, going into the week 3.
So we'll see those 2 next week. Panthers of New Lex hosting West Muskingum Tornadoes. That's your first half scoreboard. I want to thank Ted Snyder for all those, as he does an excellent job with that each and every week, helping us out. And Ted will be with us here in about 2 weeks as you're incognito out of town, Doug. We'll miss you then. Second half here underway, and your thoughts from the first half as Philo gets the ball first here, down 1.
Well, my first thought is I really enjoyed that box from Subway that the press box folks provided us. So that's my first enlightening comment for the second half. The Raiders let the Electrics hang around the first half of the game. They should have had this game put away in the first half. They had the field position time after time. The Electrics just would not break, and so that is tough to overcome sometimes. The Electrics had the ball first here in the second half and have a chance to take the lead in their first possession. See if they take advantage of it. See what kind of field position to get on this kickoff. The last time they received a kickoff, they ran it back for a touchdown that didn't count.
That was Seth Henning.
I would not kick the ball to Henning.
91 yards. Seth Henning had that taken back off the board in the first quarter, right after Morgan's lone score of the game. Here's a squib kick.
Look out, look out.
Bouncing high. That's a free pigskin and hammered inside the 35 are the Electrics there at the 34-yard line. They will get the football. And getting whacked on that one was Grant Carpenter for Philo, a 5'9 sophomore. So that's how the Electrics start this half.
That takes some courage to stand there, wait for that big hop to come down, knowing you're going to get blasted as soon as you touch the ball, and then he hung on to it. Great job.
The Electrics will come out on offense for the first time here in this second half, just seconds into it. And you see a squib kick there to start the half by Morgan. A little bit of interesting call. Looked like it was by design for Coach Bowman.
Well, it definitely was by design. They weren't going to let Seth Henning touch the ball under any circumstances on that kickoff. I mean, their defense has played tough. So, it's a good call. Don't give the ball to their biggest playmaker.
4 receivers. Preston out of the shotgun, hands off. Here's Henning, and you can't throw it to him. You can't kick to him. Give it to him. And look at Henning all the way inside the Morgan 40. Explosive play again from Seth Henning.
I'll tell you what, Seth Henning is fired up. The referee's telling him to calm down. And and if I was Coach Linscomb, I'd be telling him, don't calm down, keep it up.
Down to the 38-yard line of Morgan goes Henning. So how's 29 yards on the ground with the handoff from Preston for you?
Tell you what now, he turned on the Jets on that play. I thought he might gain a few yards on it. He has come to play tonight. Put the ball in his hands, coach.
Electrifying start for Coach Dirk Lincecum and his club as Preston will now run it to the right. He got blockers in front of him. He's got another first down for Philo before he's finally ankle tackled and thrown down at the end near the Raider 26-yard line for a dozen more. Talon Preston.
I got a lot of games against these Electrics, and I don't care what the score of the game was, whether we were up or they were up. They were going to play till the gun went off at the end. And they would even play a little longer than that if you ask me. So I knew they were going to come out in the second half and perform. They had the ball first. What an opportunity to take the lead in this game.
Preston looking very impressive after the run by Henny moments ago. Preston with 12 there. Preston again, the first 2 weeks of the season, has eclipsed 100 yards plus on the ground. 171 in the opener, 100 exactly last week.
No one in the backfield with him. He's going to run it again.
Yes, he will. As Wright tried to lead block, come to motion to the tight end. He'll go around the left end. That's just elusiveness and smarts by Preston to nearly pick up a first down on the far side.
A Morgan defender had his eyes on him all the way and just did not take the correct angle and let him get away. They marked that way back from where I thought he went out of bounds. I thought he picked up 9 yards. Looks like they're going to give him about 7.
So about 2nd and 3 coming up for Philo as they mark it at about the Raider 20-yard line.
A nice play by Preston to pick that yardage up because they had him in the backfield.
5 receivers, including Wright, the big tight end in motion now from left to right, looking to pass, and he'll flip it out to right. He's wide open, and that is a incomplete backwards pass.
Referee signified that immediately. It was an incomplete pass. But the Morgan players, I like that. That's good coaching. They attacked the football. They continued in pursuit of the ball in case it was ruled a lateral instead of just standing there waiting for the referee to make the call.
Well, now you have a 3rd down and manageable for the Electrics. 4-down territory, one would think. Field goal also gives you the lead if you do not convert a 3rd down and decide not to go for it on 4th. However, more activity took place after this, Doug, and we're just getting word ourselves up here that there's a penalty going to go on the defense, I believe, here. This is a personal foul, I believe. Let's check this as they sort it out.
Face mask penalty. So, I have no idea where it occurred. It certainly didn't occur where the pass was thrown. It was an incomplete pass. It wasn't a defender anywhere near the Electric receiver.
So stunning developments for the home team here with a face mask penalty. That's going to obviously push Philo in a 1st and goal situation.
1st and goal.
At the 10. And so Philo, opening minute and a half here, the 3rd quarter, looking for their first lead of the game. And they have 4 cracks at it down here. Man in motion, Preston running, and he shakes off one would-be tackler and somehow gets near the 5 to about the 6.
Boy, a Morgan defender tried to make a tackle from the chin strap up, and
it didn't work.
Preston just about lost his head, but he pulled it down, tucked that thing in like a turtle, and picked up some yards. Down to the 6, 2nd down.
4 yards for Preston. Philo has started this drive in this half on their own 33-yard line and have marched it down the field.
Talking field goal, and the last time they tried a PAT, it didn't work so well. So I definitely think Coach Linson wants to get this thing across the stripe for 6.
5 receivers, including the tight end right in motion, and he's going to lead block for Preston, who jiggles his way in for the touchdown. Philo's in the lead. 12-7.
First possession of the second half, they took the lead. We got a Philo player down. It's like one of the linemen. Touchdown, Preston.
9:25 left to go in the third quarter. Early second half fireworks from the road team. As Preston caps it off with a 6-yard run for the score. And with the injury down on the field, this gives the Electrics a little more time to decide if they're going to go for 2 or kick the extra point. I would think, and it's probably pretty obvious at this point, you had an extra point blocked. 2-point conversion puts you back up 7 and makes up for that missed extra point. I would think Coach Linscomb will probably come out here and go for 2, but let's see. It's still a lot of football left to go here early third.
Well, if you don't convert, you're only ahead by 5 points. So either way, he can't make a bad call here. They get they go for the kick. They can be up by at least 6, but I think we're going to see a 2-point effort.
So Talon Preston, first touchdown of the night for him, 6 yards out, completes a 67-yard Philo scoring drive. That happened pretty quick, just 2.5 minutes. And Preston had 3 rushing touchdowns last week, 2 from 5 yards out and another one from a yard out in the 2014 victory over Carrollton a week ago. So he continues to show his legs.
Yeah, that means his offensive line is doing a great job because there's no fake. When you snap the ball directly to the quarterback, he just runs up into the line of scrimmage. Nobody's deceived. Linebackers get a quick read. They can run to the point of attack immediately. So that means your offensive line has to be doing a good job up front to run plays like that.
And so while they still attend to an injured Philo Electric here near the goal line, gives us a chance for our readers and our sponsors here tonight. The MVL Game of the Week presented by Community Bank. Now's the perfect time to join the Go Local movement by banking locally with the Community Bank. Thinks Harley-Davidson, live to ride, ride to live. Thinks quality cars and RVs. Quick as a wink, deal with Fink. Thinks easy leasing and rental. And Foxfire Schools, free public alternative education serving students grades K through 12. The Electric player is a lineman, being helped by a couple of trainers and coaches on the Electric staff here. I believe the number is 71, if I'm not mistaken here, Doug, that I'm seeing.
That's
but
what it looks like.
Don't see it in the program if it is.
71 in their program.
And so the Electrics will come out here preparing for a 2-point conversion as the injured Electric continues to come off the field slowly.
He looks like an offensive tackle type.
As they get set now to resume action. We have 9 minutes, 25 seconds left to go in our third quarter in your MVL Game of the Week.
Winner. Looks like a new tradition here at Raider Stadium. The student body's jumping up and down over there. It sounds like thunder. It's definitely going to be a 2-point attempt by the Electrics.
Let's see if the Electrics bring the lightning. That's part of the Thunder Lightning. Like that, do you?
Yeah. You have been rehearsing. I am darn proud of you. But look at this. The quarterback is under center.
It's Preston.
I don't like that.
And it's a pitch to the left for the 2-pointer to go 14-7, no problem. As rumbling in off that pitch was Talon Bailey. Electric's leading rusher. As far as backfield mates are concerned, he gets it in for the 2.
They pounded the middle most of that drive to pick up their yardage and came back on a 2-point attempt and ran a sweep to the left. It worked perfectly.
And so Philo makes up for that extra point block there at the end of the first half that kept them behind by a point. They're now up 14-7, doubling up your hometown Raiders here in the first Muskingum Valley League game being hosted by Morgan here at the new field at Morgan Raiders Stadium and the complex that is so wonderfully built here. It took some years, but it's done. But right now, their team's down on the scoreboard all of a sudden. You got a fired up Philo team with 14 unanswered.
But I have maintain a streak that I have kept intact for 19 years, Hank. I didn't win the 50-50 drawing of over $500, but the guy who did donated the money back to the Morgan, half to the Morgan football team and half to the band tonight.
Hey, that's great. You know, that's
I was
awesome.
I was going to buy you and Judy a pizza if I wanted.
I was saying, what was it going to be? Oh, okay, now I know.
$540, man.
Whoa. I think get a few pizzas, for that? Just one. Oh, okay. Moving on. Morgan down to just 1 score. Still a lot of time to go despite giving up a score just moments ago on the opening drive for Philo.
Well, right now, if you're the Morgan Raiders and you're the coaching staff, you're about half sick to your stomach because you know you should be ahead in this game, and here you are behind. Whoa.
That's a loose pigskin, and the Raiders pounce on it. Both teams refusing to kick it deep to one another, as the Raiders would come up with a great field position at their own 47-yard line. So, well, Morgan with a short field, have a chance to come back with a quick tie.
Well, that is definitely an interesting call for your special teams to come up with an onside attempt like that and give a team with as potent an offense as the Raiders have. I mean, they can score from right here on a pass play without any sweat. So the electric defense, coaches challenge his defense. We're going to put you in a hole to start the second half. Get us out of it.
Niswonger out of the gun to start his team's first offensive possession in the second half of the quarter. One lone receiver to the short side of the field to the left, two out to the right. The back in the backfield will get it. No, Bankus was faked to, and Niswonger, not fooled by Philo like I was, stacked up for a loss of 2 to the 45.
Ashton Schultz right in the middle of that play from his defensive tackle spot. Number 56. The Electrics are fired up. And that's a dangerous beast when the Electrics are fired up. I can tell you that from past experience.
Philo trying to ride that momentum. Coach Lincecum, 13 years. This is his 14th year. Has not had a team start out 3-0 despite all the success. 10 winning seasons. They always seem to have a blip in the first 3 weeks. Could this be the year they go 3-0 under him? Downfield, quick pass to Bankus for a first down inside the Philo 35-yard line. That'll move the chains as he's short of the 30.
Well, that was too easy. I mean, he's right in the seam. Ball is right on the money, hit him in stride. What a pass.
Goes for 24 yards downfield to Bankus from Niswonger.
Well, that now makes the onside kick call difficult because now they are in definitely 4-down territory, and they're moving the football.
Bankus will go to the right. He'll be in the slot over there. Part of 2 receivers that side. 1 receiver to the left, 1 back to the right of Niswonger. Niswonger is going to turn to his right, and we have flags flying. Here comes the Philo defense chasing after him, and Niswonger is going to throw this one down the sidelines and out of bounds, trying to throw it to a late streaking receiver. Let's check the flag here. Philo brought on some heat.
No doubt about that. The pass rush was on. I'm gonna have to guess this is going to be a holding call.
I think that would probably be what I would guess as well here, Doug, as they confer.
Well, Niswonger did a great job of eluding the rush, and he did a great job throwing the ball out of bounds. I mean, there's no one who's going to catch that ball. But one of his linemen, you see your quarterback in trouble. Okay. Wow.
Well, exactly what it was. Holding, declined. So they're going to take the incompletion, or will they take the penalty yards? Let's check this.
There were 2 penalties.
Ooh.
There were 2 penalties. They declined the first one and accepted the second one.
That explains marching back to the 41.
So what down is it? It's not 1st and 10.
It's
the
first.
downs markers over there, they have 2nd down, but I don't think it's 2nd down. I think it's 1st down.
You're right. Down remains. It'll be 1st and 20, Doug. At the Philo 41 for the Raiders. 4 receivers. Trips right. Niswonger, shotgun. 1 lone back to his left. And he's going to roll and run to the left. Dodd trying to lead block for him. And Niswonger does a nice job with that balance to stumble forward for about 4 or 5 additional yards at the end of the play.
Philo's going to a 4-man line. Their defensive end went to the inside. He was crushed down to the inside, and that let the linebacker on the outside one-on-one with Niswonger, and he couldn't make the play.
Before you know it, Niswonger gets 9 nice yards out of it.
About
Make
9.
it 2nd and 11.
Yep.
Ball will be at the electric 32-yard line. Raiders trying to come back. This is their first possession of the 3rd quarter. As they try to get the equalizer, Philo went down and scored first on a 67-yard drive.
The electric defense is in a familiar spot. Their backs to their end zone here.
3 receivers, 2 to the right. Again, Niswonger working out of that shotgun. He's looking left side, sideline route, coming back to the ball. Did he stay in and tippy-toe it over there with the hands? He did make the catch near the 25. Going to be just short of a 1st down.
Going to make it a very, very workable 3rd down call for them, especially where they're at. If they don't make this on a 3rd down attempt, I'm sure they'll go for it on 4th.
First time we called his name tonight. 5'7", 150-pound soaking wet senior Adam Cooper with his first catch.
We couldn't actually see him. He was shielded by the Morgan Raiders sideline players. Great job on the sideline.
Yeah, where's number 10 for the Raiders? Here comes Niswonger running left in, short side of the field, and he just needed 3 yards or so on third down. Let's see if he got it.
Fourth down, but he's going to be maybe a yard. I see the Philo defenders reaching to make tackles, and no coach in America teaches their defensive players to shake hands on a tackle. You teach kids, put your chest on the guy, bring your feet with you. And right now, the Philo's players are taking a bad angle on those plays off tackle and letting those running backs for Morgan escape.
Big play, Doug. Niswonger did not pick it up. Got 2. 4th and 1. Raiders going for it. The electric 22. Going forward, this is a battle of strength here with the lines, and let's see where it will be spotted. Comes down to that.
I mean, it looked to me like he made enough progress to get a first down, but all the guys on Philo's defense disagree with me.
As usual, both teams pointing each direction. You failed. Nope, got it. Failed, got it. Let's see.
Boy, that's something we don't see very often anymore is the measurement.
And they will bring out the chain links. You're right, Doug. You don't get those very often. First time tonight.
I wonder if it's because the carpet is so perfect. Where the grassy fields, kind of wavy. We thought Tri-Valley was named because they had 3 valleys on their football field at one time. But we're going to have a measurement here.
I sure got to give it to you, Doug. You have every little nook and cranny, it seems. All these little tidbits. I would say of nonsense, but I bring a lot of that to the cupboard. And here's the stretch of the chains. I think he's short. Boy, this is close.
No.
They still can't decide.
He's going to get out the card, see if they can get anything between the ball and
they failed. Philo will get it.
They held by the width of a playing card.
The Electrics turn him over and get the football back. Morgan's drive fails.
The old playing card defense. Yeah, Coach Linscomb, you pulled one out again.
By that much.
Oh, man.
Pretty doggone close, if not that. So, with 6:42 left to go in our third quarter as we near the midway point, Philo still clinging to a 14-7 lead that they took the lead earlier this quarter, and they withstand a Morgan drive down the field deep in their territory by a playing card.
That's been that's been their MO the entire game. Philo's defense has played most of the game inside their own 30. And they've only given up 1 score.
Well, let's see what the Electrics offense can do for an encore here, Doug, as they have picked it up now on offense.
I think I would feature number 11 somehow.
In motion. They're going to run, though. Preston running left, looks for blockers, doesn't get help and didn't get much, if any. Morgan Raider defense rose up on that first down play.
It's interesting how the high school game has evolved. Where back in the day, if your quarterback was running the ball, it mean you were an option team. Not so today. Your quarterback is one of your primary ball carriers, and oftentimes he's in the backfield by himself and just takes off. So quarterbacks have to be tough. I think a lot tougher kids than they used to be.
Preston's still out of the gun. 3 receivers to his right, one lone back to his right.
With him.
And it's a high snap. He's got time, and he's going to look to run, and he scoots some legs to the left sidelines, and he's going to pick up at least half the yards needed for the first down, it appears.
Good recovery by the Raider defense that time to hold him to that much of a gain. And those are the kind of plays where you let the quarterback get away, he can run for a first down in no time, and Preston's a good runner.
They'll mark him down at the 25-yard line. So third down and at least 6 yards needed for the Electrics here.
Well, think back on the only punt of the game was by Philo. I think it was an 11-yard punt and nearly blocked. And right now that's what they're looking at. 3rd and long, if they don't convert this, they're going to have to punt from deep in their own territory.
You're right. Niswonger nearly did block that punt you're referring to. Here's a pass on 3rd and 6 out the flat, and it's caught, and down goes the receiver. Catch made there by Philo's number 7, Aiden Mahan, a sophomore standing 6'2", first time we've called his name tonight with a reception, but he was immediately decked.
Searle, nice tackle. Cole Searle made that play for very little gain, forcing the punt here on 4th down. Well, I tell you what, I'm sure the Philo staff, they don't even have enough guys on the field.
Looking to pass. Preston's a
Did you
trick.
see
It's a
that?
fake, and they got it.
Yes, it is.
It's caught, and it's a first down out past the 40. And a tough hit there is going down.
He came
was
off the
Bateson.
sideline late, Hank. Philo's team hustled out and lined up, and that guy came off the sideline at the last second and got in his stance, and they threw the ball to him.
5'9" senior Benson Bateson makes the catch over there on the left side off that pass from Preston on a fake. And wow, what a call by Coach Lincecum's team.
Yeah, he probably learned that from John Kelly and John Glenn. John Kelly, he perfected that play, I think, against the Ceramics.
Much like the wing tee that he had in place for many, many, many years.
His guy would run off the field and stop between the referee and the sideline and then come back out and killed us.
Kudos to Philo there, gambling and going for it on 4th down and 3 and making it. As they get it out past the 40 to the 43 for 15 yards on that 4th down fake, and then they'll run it here on 1st down for about 4.
Well, you think about their first punt attempt. It was nearly blocked and gained 11 yards. That's a pretty good call by the Philo staff right there.
5 yards in the books actually on that 1st down carry. Caught 2nd and 5. Electric's on the move thanks to that 4th down conversion on the fake. 4 receivers, 2 split each direction. 1 lone back to the right of Preston. Directing that offense, and we have whistles here at the snap. And that'll stop the play.
Philo.
Electrics take it. First timeout call by either team in this half. 2 remaining, 3:25 left to go in the 3rd quarter. And
Coach Lincecum must have seen something he really didn't like, or maybe they used too much time. I don't know what the deal was. But in a game this close, to burn a timeout at the 3:25 mark in the 3rd quarter, it must have been something that he thought was going to be a disaster.
So he'll talk it over, play it safe. Still has 2 remaining as this game moves on, and you're still in the lead by 7 right now, and you don't want to make a critical mistake holding on to this 1-score lead. Gives us a chance to go to more of our sponsors here, Kokona's Furniture and Mattress First. Always making it easier for you to furnish your home. Instant replays have been brought to you by the Ohio Educational Credit Union, including the halftime highlights that we provided. South 60 Films, the new home for MVL football, obviously. Streaming games live each and every week this season. Yet another Friday night. We're now flipped it into September. Another good one. 2-0 teams here on tap, fighting it out to the finish, and Philo with a 7-point lead with the ball back after the TO. Same look, 4 receivers, 2 each side, and the back is to the right of Preston. So nothing really changed there, except for Preston just put it on the floor, and he was able to pick it up and somehow make positive yards out of nothing.
Boy, that was a disaster averted that time by Preston. That ball is on the carpet, and luckily nobody from the Raider defense had penetrated, so they're going to get another shot at 3rd down.
And he got it to midfield, so about 2 yards on the fumble scoop. And forward run for Preston, 3rd down 3.
I don't think the old fake punt trick's going to work again, so the Electrics need to come up with a 1st down here.
Big play here for both teams. Philo's offense and Morgan's defense obviously behind. They need to get a stop. As you have Preston out of the gun, 5 receivers to his disposal. In motion was the tight end right to the right side, and Wright helped lead the block for Preston up there with the Hogs, and Preston gets that 1st down run.
Easily.
To the 39 of Morgan.
Boy, that's just a straight predetermined run by the quarterback. He took that snap and just headed off tackle right. Popped it to the outside a little bit, got the 1st down yardage.
Check that 44-yard line as the hash. 6 yards, needed 3. Doubled that did Preston as he continues to have another nice effective running game while directing the offense out of the shotgun at quarterback.
And they're keeping that ball out of the hands of Niswonger, the quarterback for Morgan.
Here we go. It's a handoff as Preston gave that one away, and not much doing for the ball carrier, and that was Mahan. Aiden Mahan caught one earlier in the drive on third down back at the Philo 25 for only 3 yards. Here, he won't even get that on the ground. He'll pick up 1.
That might be the best yard run he makes all night. He had a defender draped all over him about 4 yards deep into the backfield and managed to escape. The defenders just aren't taking the right angle to make the play. They're running right at the ball carrier, and they're being outran and trying those reach out and touch me tackles, and that's just not going to work. Both teams have been guilty of that tonight. You just need to take a better angle on defense to make a big play.
So Philo with a 2nd and 9. Preston out of the shotgun, 1 back to his left. He's got 3 receivers and a tight end in this look. Preston's going to run. He's going to try to go to the left side, and he's down. He's going to lose a yard or so here, maybe a couple. Back to the 45-yard line. Raiders not fooled. They snuffed it out.
Well, I've been griping about the tackling. There's no gripes on that play. That was a great tackle. That was quarterback on quarterback that time.
Well, you know, it's 3rd down and 11 here. Philo with the 7-point lead, scoring the only points on a touchdown from Preston's legs from 6 yards out and a 2-point conversion run.
Nice one was playing that outside linebacker position. He came up that time, made a great tackle.
Could be your final play potentially of the third quarter as we're inside of 30 seconds left and rolling. 15.
Well, it's obviously a passing down. See if we have a middle screen here from the Electrics.
Preston got time all day to deliver, and he found his man across the middle for a first down for the Electrics. Again, a huge conversion. His tight end, Drew Wright, inside the 30.
What a catch and pass.
To the 28-yard line.
I tell you, quarterbacks don't have a better friend in the world than a good tight end.
Electrics needed 11, Doug. They get 17, move the chains. They don't have to run a play. This is probably going to be the end of your third quarter after that completion, and it will be as both teams will go off to their respective sidelines. We have 3 quarters now in the books here at the new Morgan Raiders Stadium. The home Raiders, though, losing by 7. They need a fourth quarter comeback. The Electrics trying to stay undefeated and finish things off. Back with a fourth and final quarter after this.
MVL
14-7 back here in the fourth quarter on your MVL Game of the Week, presented by Community Bank. I'm Hank Alford along with Doug Clifford on another Friday night. Darkness obviously set in a little bit ago. Well, darkness set in on the home Morgan Raiders here tonight in the MVL home opener.
I'll tell you what, we've seen 3 good games so far this year. I think that might be a record for us, too, to start the year off with three good games. And this game is it has all the earmarkings of being the best game yet.
We saw Sheridan-Licking Valley 2 weeks ago in week 1. What a first half. Tie game there. Sheridan pulled away big in the second half to win that one. Last week, same thing. Tight game between West End and Marietta. West End bowled over the Tigers in the second half. It's Philo's turn in a close game, at the half here, a 1-point game. And now they're trying to get another score here as they try to go up 2 scores, and that's Bailey ripping off a big one up the middle on the 2nd down and 10 at the 28-yard line.
They had the Morgan defense really looking at the quarterback to carry the ball nearly every time, and that time Bailey went through there. It was a nice hole by the offensive line. Popped him through there.
Beg your pardon, that was a first down run. Obviously, the third quarter came to an end with the completion of 17 yards at the tight end from Preston to Wright. And here they go inside the red zone to the 17. 11 yards on that rip from Bailey. Philo could really put Morgan on their heels with a score right here. Preston, he's going to give it back to Bailey. And Bailey just taking guys with him again near that 10-yard line.
Well, it looks to me like Bailey has one move. It's full speed, and then his second move is full speed with my head a little lower. And, man, he is definitely a believer in the shortest distance between 2 points of a straight line.
And it makes it 2nd and 3. So he gets an 11-yard run for a first down, gets a 7-yard run here, make it 2nd and short, need 3. You can pick up a first down at the Raiders' 7-yard line. Electric's going to spread the field still with 4 receivers and 1 lone back. And Preston's going to hand it back off to Bailey. Bailey's 3rd straight carry as Lincecum goes to that ground and pound, and Bailey gets 2 more. Be 3rd down and 1 for the Philo offense. 4-down territory, although a field goal still also puts you up 2 scores if it gets down to that on 4th.
Well, you know that the Philo Electrics came in here and they had been reminded that last year it was a 1-point loss.
Mm-hmm.
And right now they're looking to put the heel to the throat.
Potential proverbial nail in the coffin, if you will. Still a lot of time, though. 10 and change to go. 10:05 and counting. 10 on the play clock to snap it. Preston does. Preston on 3rd and 1. He's going to jitterbug it for another touchdown. His 2nd rushing score of the night.
I don't think he was ever touched.
This one goes from 9 yards out.
Philo Electrics have come back in the second half with the exact response that I'm sure Coach Lincecum and the coaching staff for Philo challenged them with at halftime, and they have taken control of this football game and had 2 scores. 4th quarter, 9:59 to go, and the Morgan Raiders are in trouble.
Now down 2 scores are the Morgan Raiders here on Military Appreciation Night. Their unis out there showing the camouflage, and right now they could have used a lot more of that.
I don't see the kicker out there. Do you? Yeah, there he is. Okay, here we go. Going to attempt a kick here. Last time they tried a kick on the extra point, it was blocked.
Trying to make it a 14-point lead here with this kick. Braden Payton, it's up, and that extra point attempt is deep enough and good. Just inside that upright, they say, and that right upright. And Philo now goes up 21-7 with 9:59 left to go. In this one, 21 unanswered points by the visiting Electrics as they look to go to 3-0 for the first time ever under Coach Dirk Lincecum. Morgan was 3-0 last year for the first time in 15 years, and they're looking to do that here tonight, but now in a world of hurt.
Well, they got to come out on offense this series, and they have to get some points. I mean, they need to score as quickly as possible because they're going to have to come back out on defense and stop the Philo Electrics offense that they haven't been able to stop here in the second half at all.
Next week, we will have hopefully another good one for you on the MVL Game of the Week presented by Community Bank. We have West Muskingum, the Tornadoes, at New Lexington, and the Panthers. So look forward to that one. Both those teams were 2-0 entering action tonight. Both those last we heard were behind, as we hope to trickle in some more scores for you as this night winds down.
Well, both those teams are well coached. They have excellent coaching staffs at both schools. That should be an excellent game next week. These guys tonight, both teams are well coached here. I'm seeing a lot of little things that points to good coaching. And right now, the Electrics, their players have just come out in the second half and dominated the line of scrimmage and dominated the second half.
Talon Preston's 2nd.
Another short kick.
Rushing touchdown. And here we go. Like you called it right there, and you see it. Morgan will have excellent field position after another short kickoff.
One of the tree hitters said, I can run it too.
Out to the 45 of Philo. It doesn't get too much better than that unless you take it the distance.
There was Mason Brown, a sophomore, 6 foot tall, 205 pound, offensive and defensive lineman. He just nearly broke that. I don't know how far he would have gotten had he broken it. One more tackle, but he put his team in a great field position. It's interesting that Philo would give the team that good a field position, knowing that if they make him go the full length of the field, it'll burn the clock up.
This is a team that averages over 42 a game coming in, being thwarted tonight after an opening scored touchdown in the first quarter in these Morgan Raiders. Get that timeout called on the field by Coach Lincecum, and Philo. That's the second one burned to the half. They're left with 1. Morgan has all 3, down 14 here. Keep that in mind.
Well, right now the team that's going to need the timeouts is Morgan. And a team that can afford to burn one to make sure your defense is set is definitely the Philo Electric. So Coach Lincecum saw something, whether it's a formation or one of his players covering a certain receiver, but he saw something again that he did not like, made a timeout, he's going to make the adjustment right now, just doesn't want his team to give up a cheap touchdown at this point because he knows the Raiders can score quickly. I mean, they can score anywhere on the field in one play, one pass play, and they're in the end zone. So right now, he's telling his defense, we just can't give up a cheap score here. Make him burn the clock.
And the Raiders have weapons, like you said. Cole Searles, look for him to potentially be a guy that they look for in Niswanger, the senior quarterback, to a senior wideout. Searle had 7 catches, 107 yards last week. He has shown up to play this year. I expect to see these two get on the same page here late, down 14 as they look to air it out. Let's see what happens.
4-man defensive line for the Electrics.
Niswanger out of the shotgun. 4 receivers, couple in the slot, 1 lone back to his right. And looking at a quick pass, got his man at the 39 of Philo, trying to make some moves, but not able to get much further than to the 38-yard line on that catch that goes for 7.
Well, the receiver lost a couple of yards on that. He was further up the field than where he was tackled. They're going to advance him, though, one extra yard from where he went on the ground.
And not to throw just Searle out there, Hayden Bankus, a big playmaker as well, not to keep him off and out of the picture. He makes the catch there and has stepped up tonight at times for this Raider offense. 2nd and 3 after 7 yards. Niswanger, plenty of time. He'll stop. He'll heave. End zone dreaming. And it's going to be nearly picked off and then almost caught at the goal line. And it falls incomplete harmlessly at the end.
It's a great job that time by Henning. Not a great job by the defensive front 4. They let the quarterback outside. Niswanger had no pressure whatsoever. He rolled to his right. Philo's defensive line lost contain. And Henning made a great play in that end zone. He didn't put his hands out and touch the receiver. He just turned around and found the ball.
Now you're looking at 3rd down, 3 yards needed, so you're down 14. It's 4-down territory, deep in Philo territory with just over 9 to play.
Well, they were thinking touchdown on that last play. I think they're thinking 1st down on this one.
See what's drawn up here by Coach Chase Bowman in his 6th year. Trying for back-to-back winning seasons after a playoff berth in a winning season a year ago. Low snap out of the gun, looking to pass, sideline route, caught, short of the first down. Electric sound defense with the tackle, making us the young fella, the sophomore. We've called his name a few times in the second half, in Aiden Mahan.
Nice play with that defender.
And so with that catch there, Doug, it's only a yard on the pickup. 4th and 2 for the Raider offense. They got to go for it, obviously. Crowd getting energized.
8:40 left in the game, the clock running, but this is a critical play in this football game. If the Electrics can hold here, they're going to have the ball in a good field position, and with their running attack, they can absolutely eat that clock alive. A lot of time going off the clock here. What's going on?
Getting lively in McConnellsville. We have whistles and a timeout called by Coach Bowman and his Raider team. Play clock was down to about 3 when the signal came in as they try to decide on 4th down and 2 what to do.
Well, Hayden Pauly went on the field late. Number 2, I don't know what the problem was. I don't know if they didn't have 11 guys on the field. But that's a critical mistake at a critical time on a 4th down call.
We're looking ahead here. 4th and 2 obviously comes right now. Biggest play of the game. Philo next week at home against Riverview. Let's say they win this game. That is a winnable game to say the least. They could be 4-0 out of the gates if that would happen, and they finish off this game tonight.
Is fielding a really young team this year. So it looks like they're in it for some tough games ahead. And
Morgan, meanwhile, hits the road taking on Sheridan, who could be undefeated at the end of the night. So could these Raiders if they make a comeback. They got to get the 4th down conversion here. Man in motion, out of the gun, back in the backfield, fake to him, passing right side, got him, caught in the flats, and it's a 1st down catch, just enough up there to the 33.
Clutch play, number 32 on that catch, Braden Strode.
5'9" senior, first time called him tonight. His first reception hauled in was a big one, a 4th down conversion. Needed a couple, picked up about 5. Raiders continue the drive, keeping hope alive.
We're down to the 8-minute mark.
As Niswanger works out of the gun, 4 receivers again, 1 back to his left. He'll pass towards the sidelines, caught over there at the 25, banged down by a pair of Electrics. Morgan on the move. That's Bankus, another busy catch for him.
You know, he went out of bounds on the catch, but I think the referee ruled he was going backwards when he went out of bounds. So he kept the clock running, 7:40 and running.
And so they will mark it at the 24 with his progress. Bankus a little bit shaken up. He's gimpy as he goes, lines up in the left slot on this play. He'll remain in the game. 3-receiver look. Nice swanger looking to pass. Downfield, wide open, caught, touchdown Bankus! He has done it for his team on a 24-yard touchdown reception. Blown coverage, great route, and a score for the Raiders as they're back in it.
That was definitely a blown coverage, Hank. There wasn't anybody close to him. Philo defense definitely made a mistake on that one. Gave up an easy score. 7:23 left in the game. Place kicker's on the field. Try to cut this lead to 7.
45 yards is all they needed here, Doug. Remember the short kickoff.
That's right.
Set up a short field. Extra point pending. There's the snap, the hold, the kick. It's left off the upright and no good. So the Raiders remain down 8 points by missing that one off the pipe.
We've had some interesting plays on the point after touchdown.
Still a one-score game, however.
So now you kick off deep to this team and let Henning touch the ball. You kick an onside kick and give them good field position with the running attack they've shown here in the second half. This is a tough call here.
It's one of those pick your poison.
Yes, it is. I'm thinking if I can kick it deep somewhere where Henning isn't standing. But right now, it looks like the hands team is on the field. There's a lot of receiver numbers and running back numbers out there, 16s and 34s. And I see Henning, number 11, he's standing at the 40. So they're expecting an onside attempt here.
We shall see what happens. Expect a short kick nonetheless, whether it's onside or not.
Right.
One would think.
Well, this is a great time to kick it deep because there's nobody back. When one guy's back, if you kick it down the field into a corner, you can really pin a team deep down the field, but Philo's not taking any chances. They expect that onside attempt. They have 9 guys between the 40 and 50-yard line.
7:23 to go. It's a low liner fielded at the 38 of Philo, and the run back goes for about 5 by the return man, Jack Lincecum. The name sounds very familiar because
it looks like Jack Lincecum will get the right to bust on the way back home. Had he fumbled that, he might have to get the thumb out.
Yo, heave ho. 6'2", sophomore Jack Lincecum. First time we called his name tonight.
On the run back. Had he not caught that ball, that line drive would have gone well down the field. That would have been tough to handle for the return guys down that were deep down there by themselves. So big play on the special teams.
So going back to that Morgan scoring play, 24-yard touchdown pass from Logan Niswanger to Hayden Bankus. Second touchdown pass of the night for Niswanger. On the other side, Talon Preston has 2 rushing touchdowns for Philo. So the quarterbacks have been the stars of this game. And a one-score Philo lead, 21-13, up by 8 thanks to a missed extra point moments ago by Morgan. We have this score that trickled in just minutes back. New Lexington falls for the first time this year to John Glenn, who stays undefeated by a point. 14-13 Muskies. Congratulations, John Glenn, in beating New Lexington. We'll see New Lex next week at home. They try to get back in the W. Colin.
Nothing like those one-point nightmares. Not that it affected me any.
Oh, of course not. We don't need any flashbacks, do we? Well, if you're Philo, you want a flashback, or excuse me, Morgan, you want a flashback against Philo here. You want to come back and win this game. You won by a point. There you go, by a point. Last year, you're down 8. Philo on second down and 7.
They're going for everything.
Got Lincecum, and he dropped it right through the bread basket. That thumb might be back out, Doug.
Yep.
Unfortunately for the sophomore, he was there, he was open, and then the defender was closing. Maybe had something to do with it and got in his way, but he had his hands on it for what should have been a for sure catch and first down.
Well, he could have made a fair catch on that one. He had to wait for the ball, And I think anytime a receiver has to wait for a ball, it's not a good situation. But it's a heck of a call by Coach Linscomb that time. I mean, that would have probably sealed the game right there. As it is, it just stops the clock with 6:29 left, and it's 3rd and long.
Needing 8 yards on the Electrics. They got to get into the Morgan side of the field. Preston, plenty of time, middle of the field, got his man cut, and it's right the tight end for a big first down. He's kind of like a mini Travis Kelce out there running around for Philo tonight.
When in doubt, find the tight end.
Up to the 36 of Morgan, a huge conversion of 19 yards when Philo needed on 3rd and 8.
I mean, those are ugly catches. I mean, you just throw, it looks like you're throwing to the guy that that empties your trash every once a week, and he just lumbers down the field. But I tell you what, if his hands touch it, it stays there.
For sure, hands, good route running, does a little bit of everything. Does right on both sides of the ball. He has picked up a sack on defense as well tonight. Makes a big 3rd down catch. Electrics continue to use some clock here, running that clock down to about 6 before they snap it. And here's a run by Bailey, impressive as that is, up to the 30-yard line, excuse me. So he picked up 6 more.
Boy, that was right up the gut, too. The way Bailey got up off the ground at time, I was waiting for him to give the Ezekiel Elliott, keep feeding me, because he looks like he's ready to run the football.
Well, let's see if Bailey shall get the next one. Last time they had the ball, the Electrics, and they ended up scoring at the end of it. There was a time where Bailey had 3 straight carries before Preston capped it off with a 9-yard touchdown.
Exactly. He's a workhorse.
It'd be 2nd and 4. We have about 5 minutes now left to go and counting here in this 4th quarter. Philo trying to come away with a victory and stay undefeated and go to 3-0. Morgan trying to do the same, come back and go to 3-0. Here's Preston, stop and go, a little hesitation run. Oh, and he tried to shimmy shake, and he nearly
his knee went down. Yeah,
lost yards, and he did. Yep. He'll lose about 2 there to the 32, Doug.
You know why I like Bailey so much? He's got a dirty jersey.
How do you do that on the turf?
He's played so hard. His jersey's dirty, and they're playing on a carpet.
That's impressive, to say the least. What's going to be impressive here is that Philo picks up another 3rd down conversion and try to salt away a victory.
4:23 and clock running. Electrics have 1 timeout. Raiders have 2.
Taking their time here with the play call. As Preston has a pair of backs to each side of him to protect him here on 3rd down. And they're going to go out from the backfield for a pass, looking downfield instead for a wide. He's got his man. It's caught. And that's another Electric 3rd down conversion catch.
What a clutch play. The defender was all over that receiver. I mean, I was waiting for the ball to pop out.
And it was Seth Henning with those sure hands downfield on the 3rd down conversion to the 20.
Wow, he's made some big plays tonight for this team, no doubt about it.
And so Philo will keep the chains moving. They'll keep the clock ticking here at the new Morgan Raiders Stadium in McConnellsville. A great sight to be here tonight in Week 3. MVL opener for both teams. And the Electrics swung the pendulum after being down 7-0 for most of the first half. Scored 21 straight to take a 21-7 lead. Now trying to hang on after a Morgan late score here. And it's a handoff to Bailey. Bailey, he's wide open down the sidelines on the run. Touchdown scamper for Bailey.
Oh, you bet. I think that's the first time Bailey's run outside the guards all night. He popped that thing to the outside and made a little cut.
The junior
wide
back.
Open all the way to the end zone, untouched.
5'6", junior back, Talon Bailey, 20-yard touchdown run, nearly untouched over there on that right sideline, far side of the field for the score. Electrics go back up by 2 scores. Could be all she wrote here for the home Morgan Raiders tonight.
Well, a good portion of their student fans called it a night, but it's far from over. They still have a little over 3 minutes to play. They have a quarterback who can throw the ball down the field.
Extra point attempt to go up by 15. There's flags before the snap and the kick. With 3:24 to go, it's a false start on Philo.
Somebody on the offensive line flinched. Morgan's extra point defense, they they run to the line of scrimmage, and run into those gaps and stop at the last second, and that's tough for the offensive line. You got to hold your water there with those guys coming in there, knowing that if they get through your gap, they're going to block the kick.
That makes this try a little bit more difficult. 5 more yards added, 25-yard extra point attempt. There's a snap. Hold. Here comes pressure on another block. So again, the Morgan special teams comes up with an extra point block. That's 2 tonight, and that keeps it a 14-point game at 27-13, keeping the door ajar.
Yes, it does. I mean, a 15-point lead just makes it that much more difficult because then you have to convert a 2-point play just to stay in the game. So we'll see. Anxious to see what the attack is now. I mean, I can't believe it's going to be anything but passing. And with a 2-touchdown lead, if you're the defensive coordinator for Philo, that means you can turn loose a linebacker and try to go get the quarterback.
So it remains 27-13 after the
they're
extra
not
point block.
They're not going to throw a 15-yard touchdown pass. So, you can gamble a little bit on defense here. Maybe not on it you're choosing. It's a good time for a blitz.
Will we get that short kickoff like we've been seeing by both teams really here? You're up 14, but again, that's been kind of what's gone on tonight. Regardless, on special teams, each team after a score have been kicking it shorter after what happened to start this game. A Philo kickoff return for a touchdown by Seth Henning went off the board. Now Philo will tee it up at the 40-yard line. That completed a 57-yard drive for the Electrics. Took about 4 minutes almost, 3:59 off the clock.
I think Coach Bowman needs to come up with a formation again that tricks the Electrics secondary and try to, get that guy down the field. Oh, they're offsides.
And they were kicking it deep, too, and it was a good kick.
That is a deep kick.
Almost near the goal line, but they'll have to.
Well, I think it was the guy right next to the kicker. It was way offsides.
So that'll push Philo back.
We're right at the 40-yard line in our comfy air-conditioned perch out here on the balcony, on the veranda.
As you can mention that.
And so, I mean, I thought, man, that guy's really offsides. I wonder if the referee saw that. He saw it easily.
If we ever make our way back to McConnellsville this year, we'll know to bundle up further along.
Well, Matt, our producer, told us that they had everything set up in the really nice press box, and we got bumped by a radio crew, and the AD asked Matt if he would mind if we would do it out here on this little platform.
Ever so kind that he is.
Yes, and he moved everything out, so having everything set up. So it was a great job by Matt and the crew.
Yep.
And we have a perfect vantage point for the game, and it's really comfortable. So it worked out great.
Let's see if it's comfortable come October 6th. Here's the kickoff as Morgan will just be glad to field this one and protect it as they go down to the ground at about the 23-yard line. Oh, by the way, we will be back here at Morgan Raiders Stadium a little over a month from now, October 6th, Week 8, when the West End Tornadoes come into town. So be prepared. We're back out here in the outdoors of the friendly confines of the new stadium to bring some jackets, toboggans, gloves, etc., long johns, whatever we may need.
We may have to have some advanced intelligence, and maybe some radio guys show up with flat tires when they leave the station.
Oh, brother. So we'll be back here in Morgan again October the 6th in Week 8, 5 weeks later down the road. Next week, again, West End at New Lex. A couple weeks from now, it'll be these same Philo Electrics at West Muskingum. As we see a lot of the Tornadoes, you won't be at that one in 2 weeks. We'll see Philo again right here on South 60 Films. And your MVL game of the week on the 15th of September. Back here, live action, 1st and 10. Morgan with it on their own 23. They're down 14. They need points in a hurry. It's a fake. Nice swanger looking downfield, rolling left, fires towards that sideline. I believe he's caught that one in bounds over there near the marker, just short at about the 32.
It's going to stop the clock. It did not stop the clock.
From our vantage point, it looked like he was out. Clock running under 3 minutes. Now left to go here in McConnellsville. Home team down 14, looking at their first defeat, possibly the 2023 season. And they're running a lot of time here, Doug, off the clock, trying to get this play call in. They have 2 timeouts remaining. You obviously want to be wise when you use them. But they surely didn't help themselves trying to get this play call in. And now we have whistles and stoppage. It's officials' timeout down on the field. Stopping the clock with 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Now, I wonder if they're going to reset the clock. I mean, that's what it looks like they're talking about.
So let's see. Maybe he was out of bounds,
well,
possibly.
He definitely got out of bounds on the catch. His momentum carried him right out of bounds. He wasn't tackled and knocked backwards at all. And the timekeeper either didn't get the signal or didn't see the signal, but the clock kept going.
That will obviously be a big bonus for Morgan. They should have over 3 minutes left to go. And they do. They will update the time. 3:11 showing. With a 2nd down and 1 at the Morgan 32-yard line after the 9-yard catch and getting out of bounds on the play.
Well, the Philo has 3 down linemen now and 2 deep safeties. So they've changed their defense into more of a prevent look. But their front 3 are already flying to the quarterback. Oh,
complete.
Good tackle.
Boy, nice pass. Even better tackle on the other side of the 40 for a potential first down, but there are multiple flags down on the field.
You know, I don't know if it was holding or the defender for Philo got off on the snap a little quicker. Their right defensive end was really off the ball quickly.
They'll try to sort this one out. This looms large. Morgan will have a first down if it's on the defense. If not, you're going to put yourself in 2nd and long, and obviously you just burn 8 more seconds and more yardage to get. Late in this one, down 2 scores. There we go. It's on the defense. Yep. Holding Philo. Well, catch is successful for the first down with the penalty on the defense. Raiders trying to pass it down the field with the right arm of Niswanger.
Well, Philo's defense is set to prevent anything deep. They're giving everything underneath a free run. They're not challenging the guys at the line of scrimmage. Now they are on the far side. Their corners are all walked up pretty tight. Not quite as tight here on the near side.
Just 3 down linemen, 3 backers, 5 secondary personnel for the Electrics expecting that pass. Niswanger, it feels pressure from the right side, and he gets flushed but finds a man as he floats it out in the flat. Caught, nice move, near midfield, short thereof at the 49 for 7 more, but the clock will continue to run.
Clock's going to run. Morgan's players need to line up.
2:45 and counting. Philo up 14, they're trying to hang on.
You know, this is that special situation you practice on Thursdays.
Shotgun, looking to pass quick. Niswanger has to pull it back down and now just has to throw one out towards the sideline to avoid a sack and does. Overshot a target over there, and that was Searle on the far sidelines at the 49.
Well, Camden Stoner, number 82, is applying some heat on the quarterback. I mean, he is flying up that football field. You know, he's not worried about the running attack. Just like he shouldn't be. I mean, he doesn't need to worry about that. So he's getting off the ball on the snap, and he's getting up the field quickly, and he is forcing Morgan's quarterback to dance around, and that time barely got one off to keep from avoiding a sack.
Now it makes it 3rd and 4 after the incompletion for the Raiders at their own 48. 4 receivers at a disposal, firing downfield. Guys open, caught it. The Philo 41 and knocked down there immediately. Ball might have squirted free, but they're saying down.
Nope, they're calling him. The ball was caught and the receiver down. The clock is going to stop for the change to move. As soon as the change is set, it will start again.
Backtrack to yard when taken down at the 42 of Philo. 10 yards on the completion downfield. Raiders try to hurry up.
The Raiders are on the line. They're ready to go before the change is even set.
Niswanger, sidelines. Nice catch over there. And got out of bounds, Doug, after about 4 yards. Not much, but you save clock right here and get another call in.
Yes, exactly.
Making that catch for Morgan was number 29, Hayden 6, 5'9" junior.
2:07 remaining in the game. The clock stopped. The receiver made it out of bounds.
As the Raiders try to hurry up here and get a score to cut it to a one-score game down 2 scores. They come back out with the play call.
3-man defensive line.
With 2:07 left to go. Niswonger immediately rolling to his left. Fires, and it's incomplete. He had his man coming back to the ball at the 29. Shoulda, coulda, had it, but didn't.
It's right on the money. It was a nice pass. You know, that's an excellent throw. Quarterback rolling to his left. I mean, usually a quarterback going to, we have a flag now. Somebody pushed somebody in the secondary. I don't know if it's all on the offense or the defense.
So they'll work this one out with 2 minutes exactly left to go in our contest.
Holding.
Defensive holding on the electric.
It's going to stop. It stops the incomplete pass, stops the clock. So with a penalty, they're marching that off. That's going to be a first down.
That's big for the Raiders as they try to continue on here. Give themselves a chance towards the end of this game. If they can get a score, get an onside kick.
The Philo defense has done a great job of keeping their secondary guys deeper than the deepest receiver. But Morgan really hasn't shown any deep tendency here. I mean, everything's underneath, just like it should be. But I'm wondering how long it's going to be before they try to throw one in the end zone here.
Well, 4 receivers out there here on this play. Make it 5. As Niswonger out of the gun with no backs in the backfield. Here comes pressure from the backside. Fumble the football. Could it be a scoop? For Philo it is, and that should seal the deal. For Coach Lincecum's club with 1:52 to go.
That kid that plays tight end plays a pretty good defensive end too. Drew Wright was on that play. Had the quarterback wrapped, stripped the ball loose, and sealed the deal for the Electrics.
He's a beast, 6'3", 215-pound tight end on offense and a pressure maker, difference maker at defensive end on the defensive side of the ball with his 2nd sack tonight.
I think we're going to see a lot of those famous kneel downs anytime now.
And so Philo will recover the football at their own 45-yard line and turn the Raiders back again. Time and time again, the Raiders have gotten into electric territory and been turned away tonight, Doug. It's kind of eye-popping and makes yourself pause, but give the Philo Electric defense credit. They stepped up when they had to throughout the night.
You got to credit the defense, but Morgan's offense failed multiple times in the first half to put this game away, and this is the result.
Bailey gets the call on 1st down and 10, runs for a couple, and here comes the Raider timeout. What they had remaining, they have one more after this one.
You know, this is a classic result when you don't put a team away when you should, and I guarantee you, had the Raiders come out in the second half up 14-0 or 21-0, the Electrics would be going home with a loss, and they just didn't put them away. And, it's not like football just got started over Philo. Those kids know how to play football. They've been behind. They've been ahead. They know how to win. And you just can't give a team with that much tradition that many opportunities to stay in the ball game, and that's exactly what the Raiders did tonight.
Well, scoring by a quarter, Morgan 7-0 at the end of 1. Philo scored 6 right before the half on an interception return. Extra point no good. It was 7-6. Third quarter, Philo had a touchdown and a 2-point, 8-0 in the points in that quarter. So they went up 14-7 here in this fourth quarter, and it's been 13-6. Philo in this fourth quarter to go up 2 scores. They try to salt away the win on the ground here with Preston after the timeout. And look at Preston. Wow, what speed that he brings as he's still on his feet. Just when you think he's down back there at the 45 of Morgan, he somehow squirted up to the 34 for 11 more yards.
Well, that was an impressive squirt. I will say that, Hank. Well, Philo has just dominated the second half. I mean, they've just absolutely dominated the second half. They've outplayed the Raiders here in the second half, and maybe they were doing some outstanding play in the first half when their backs were to the wall so many times on defense, and they only gave up the first score, that one score in the opening drive of the game. So an impressive performance by the Electrics to come from behind and take control of this football game. And, I mean, nobody from Morgan can go home and say we lost on a fluke. The Electrics took this game away from them.
18 yards for Preston with his legs. Oh, by the way, just another game where he's going to have triple digits rushing the football 3 straight weeks. And he's going to hand this one back off to Bailey, though, who churns forward to the 31 for 4 more yards with 1:33 left to go. Coach Chase Bowman in his 6th year, former Raider player, who you talked to obviously this week, went through all the stuff earlier. You talked about with the practices leading up to the game here tonight. We'll call his final timeout, as Bailey remains down for Philo at the 31-yard line after the tote.
Well, I think Chase Bowman has a program going in the direction it should be. The kids play hard. He's very impressed with the seniors. He told me this week that seniors are providing great leadership. He said they've set some lofty goals in the preseason, and he said that they've worked. They just didn't set the goals. They've worked their way to attain those things. So I think Morgan's going to be a team to be dealt with. I think these are 2 solid football teams. Both teams can run the ball, can pass the ball. So both teams are going to chalk up some wins. But right now, what is it? What region is this? Division 4, right?
Division 4, Region 15 for both these schools.
Well, right now, the biggest cheerleaders for the Morgan Raiders from this point on is going to be the Philo Electrics, because the more games they win, the more points they pump into the Electric schedule, so into their point total for the playoffs. So, the playoffs are a long time off, and you're not even really worried about it now, but this is going to be a real feather in your cap for the Philo Electrics.
Well put. Feather in the cap. I like it. Here we got a second down after the timeout. 2nd and 5 for Philo. They try to run the clock out on things here. Raiders cannot stop the clock anymore. Preston, first down, and impressive running in. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Goodbye, Morgan. Preston says at the tail end with a look back. Electrics go up by 3 scores at 33-13.
Well, they completely ruined their take-a-knee execution. Now, I'm just going to grade Coach Linscomb down on that. Coach, I mean, you could have been taking that knee. You could have executed that perfectly, but no. Quarterback runs for a touchdown.
Rubbing salt in the wound. Preston does it again. The hat trick again. 3 rushing touchdowns tonight after he did 3 last week over Carrollton.
An impressive performance by the Electrics tonight. And Coach Linscomb asked me to say nice things about him, and I think I have. And, of course, I wanted him to know that being a former Kirksville coach, I don't mean any of it.
Of course, you had to throw that one in.
He has a great staff. Pat Henry's on his staff, and Pat's a long-time assistant coach there and former player. And all of his staff, they all do a great job.
We await the extra point now to make it point 34 possibly. It's been very interesting in the kicking game. This one is good. Off the leg of the kicker to make it 34-13. Is kicking that one through was Braden Payton, the sophomore, to put it up to a 21-point lead for his visiting Electrics with $1:25 left to go. The Raiders get the ball at least one more time for good measure as they go into a Week 4 game next week. That'll be in Thornville at Sheridan, so it doesn't get any easier for the Morgan Raiders. They could slip back to 2-2 before you know it. Again, could. You just never know. Next week, though, Philo has a game with Riverview at home. And in 2 weeks, our game of the week on the 15th, Ted Snyder filling in your shoes. Big shoes to fill. Obviously got some new kicks, too, by the way, tonight, I saw. They take on West Muskingum on the road. Will Philo. They could be 4-0, could the Fighting Electrics in that one in 2 weeks. They're going to be 3-0 after tonight, though, that's for sure.
Well, we know they're going to be 3-0.
Yes.
And you know, they're going to be playing a team next week that I've been told they're very young, a lot of young players starting for them. Riverview hasn't had a win this year, so I would say the deck is stacked in favor of the Electrics for next week. But you know, it's a long season, but right now it looks like the Electrics are going to make their head coach 3-0 for the first time.
Under his tenure in his 14th year coaching here this year in 2023 at the school. Here's the kickoff, fielded at about the 14, running horizontally out past the 20, 25, 30, and Morgan will have a nice return out past the 30, short of the 35.
1:17 left in the game. They're down by 21 points. Boy, this is you don't want to fold your tent and go home, but this is a real opportunity for your quarterback to take some big hits if you're going to try to, pass. Because now with a 3-touchdown lead and no timeouts for the Raiders and the Philo defense, you think their pass rush was big time the last series.
They'll be rearing their heads now.
Can't wait to get out there. I mean, this is what you live for this is what you live for as a pass rusher.
3 down linemen, 3 backers, and 5 in the secondary again, expecting that pass. And here's pressure immediately from the nose guard, but a dump pass is caught, 40, 45, near midfield. And now right there, maybe on the other side of the 50, goes the receiver for the Raiders.
That little middle screen pass, I believe they used earlier in the game. That's okay. The Electrics don't care. I mean, all the Morgan Raiders are going to do now is put some yards in the stat book.
Sophomore Dakota Kinney was putting the pressure on, forcing that quick pass that was caught by Dodd, who did the rest for the first down reception. And now Morgan goes back to the pass yet again. Catching that one, Hayden Bankus. Bankus up to the 43, and he's dropped. 2nd down 3, hurry up offense, and now Niswonger will spike this one down emphatically. That'll stop action with about 41 seconds left. In this one, you have a 3-score Philo lead, 3-touchdown difference on the legs of sensational quarterback Talon Preston. Just a junior is Preston with 3 more rushing touchdowns tonight. That last one covered 31 yards, though, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that one. His best and longest run of the night.
Well, he is as good a runner at quarterback as we've seen, and we've seen some good running quarterbacks in the last few years. But he's an outstanding runner.
And right now, Morgan, who has their senior signal caller and slinger out there, still chucking away down the stretch of this one. And Logan Niswonger, he's very impressed with himself. He can also run, too. He has shown he's multidimensional throughout his career as he winds it down in his final season. Now just trying to get his team more points on the board, some positive signs going into week 4. Low snap. He'll roll to his left with it, throw that way. Low pass caught, we think, at the 41-yard line. Yes, catch made, short of the first down stick.
Stayed in bounds. Had to go to the ground to catch the ball. The clock's going to run. This one's over, Hank. One more play, maybe 2.
Raiders will get off at least one more here. With 20 seconds, they snap it. 4th and 1. Pass is juggled and caught somehow, keeping the Raiders with the football for at least one more.
People might question why is Morgan doing this, because they know that obviously they're going to lose. Well, they might need this same series next week if they're down by a point and have a drive to win the game. So this is good practice.
Coach Speak, always like it. And then you get that, an interception to end things here tonight to cap it off. But you go down firing if you're the Morgan Raiders in defeat here with just a little over 2 seconds left, 2.6 to go. INT, yet another Raider turnover. We've seen quite a few tonight.
I think that's 5.
And right there, they ended with an interception thrown by Niswonger. Downfield.
I would be remiss if I didn't say that's why coaches do the old tip drill in the summertime. Yeah, really.
And Philo put a knee on things, and that's how this one goes down tonight in McConnellsville. The first MVL game hosted here at the new Morgan Raiders Stadium, replacing the athletic field, which stood for 84 seasons, going back to around 1940 when they got things started off. 34-13, the Philo Electrics trounced the host Morgan Raiders here tonight after trailing 7-0 on the opening drive score by Morgan. It was all Philo pretty much ever since, especially in the second half.
After being dominated.
Yeah.
They were dominated in the first half, but only gave up 1 score. And hats off to that defense for Philo. They could easily have folded at any point in that first half. Their backs to the wall, and they just didn't. And as much as it pains me to being an old ceramic and say, it's just what you got to expect from Philo. They just never quit. they just never quit. It's a credit to their program all through the years. A great football tradition over there. And, you know, Morgan has some great football tradition here, too, and Chase Bowman is, I think, just on the cusp of reviving that over here. So, two good teams tonight, great football game.
Certainly was another game where it was tight for us on the game of the week, the MVL Game of the Week, presented by Community Bank. 3 straight weeks we had a game that was either tied or within a point or so. Very entertaining through a half, and then the second half, a team took over. Sheridan week 1, last week of week 2 is West Muskegon here week 3. On this field tonight in McConnellsville, it was Philo getting the job done on the road to go to 3-0. That's right, first time 3-0 under head coach Dirk Lincecum in his 14th year. Kudos to them. They get Riverview next week. We'll see them in 2 weeks at West End. Morgan with the loss falls to 2-1. They were looking for a second straight year to go 3-0. Not to be tonight as they were denied. In the losing effort, Logan Nyswanger threw 2 touchdown passes, one of 24 yards to Hayden Bankus, 1 to 10 yards out to Cole Searle for their 2 touchdowns tonight. Philo led the way with Talon Preston with his 3 rushing touchdowns, covering 31 yards at the end, 9 yards, and 6 yards. All 3 of those rushing touchdowns for Preston came in the second half. And let's not forget Seth Henning's 99 interception return for the touchdown right for the half that flipped the momentum going to the locker room. That was the big one tonight for the Electrics.
That was a huge play, Hank. I mean, that prevented Morgan from going up 2 scores late in the first half. I guarantee you, this would not have been the result had Morgan gone up in the halftime ahead 14-0, and that gave the Electrics life, and they're a well-coached team. And when you give a well-coached team an opportunity to stay in a game like that, and one of their players makes a big play, and I was I had those coaches' nerves as soon as the half was over. I mean, I just felt that. You just cannot allow a team like Philo or any team that has a well-coached program and tradition to let them stay in the game, and that's exactly what happened. And Philo made them pay. It
was only 14-7. Philo going into the fourth quarter, and they outscored Morgan 20-6 here in the final quarter of this one. Don't forget Talon Bailey also added a 20-yard touchdown run here in the fourth for the winning visiting Electrics. That'll do it for this Friday night for us. A 34-13 Philo win on the road, ruining the MVL home opener for Morgan on their new field here at Morgan Raider Stadium. For the MVL Game of the Week presented by Community Bank, I'm Hank Hoffman with Doug Clifford saying so long on this Friday night. Have a great weekend, everybody, and a safe week next week. Next week, it's West Muskingum at New Lexington in the jungle in New Lex.
Can't wait.